Okay, so welcome to episode 5 of Inbetween Üs. Firstly, before I begin this episode, we want to give our condolences to the royal family.
Yeah,
As
man.
yesterday was the death of the Queen.
Death of Queen Elizabeth.
By the time this episode goes out, which is about next week, it'll be old news, but you know, it is what it is. I'm not too bothered.
Neither am I. Neither am I, to be honest.
But we're British citizens, so we gotta pay respects. So, anyways, just before another thing I want to say is I've been watching my episodes back, and I hate the way I speak. This episode, I'm trying to speak slower, more clearly, and without.
No, I'm gonna try that too.
Sometimes
I'm like, you get lost over your own. I watched a couple of your podcasts in it. You get like lost over your own words.
I know,
You're thinking
man.
too quick for your
So I'm
mouth.
gonna relax, take a break.
Yeah.
When I need it. So, anyways, today we're here to discuss quite a taboo, stigmatized topic in the matters of pornography and masturbation.
Yeah.
So, do you want to explain how we thought of this idea?
So we basically thought of this idea. One day we were discussing on the group chat in it, like how everyone watches it. Literally everyone watches it. Now, in the Asian community, no one admits it as much as they do in, like white communities where everyone openly discusses what they watch and how much they watch. But in the Asian community, it's well known that most people watch it, but like no one admits it.
So,
if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So the idea of this episode stemmed because there was, we both go to the same university, and there's we're friends with one of the committee members. Actually, you are a committee member.
I'm a committee member. So
and they were
representing today.
They were discussing whether or not it would be a good idea to have like a
talk on pornography.
Yeah. So it was obviously there's lots of different thoughts. Like some people won't come because of stigma, scared to get judged. Girls might be preying who goes into the lecture theatre and all that stuff.
People might join on the cover if you have that.
And whether it would be actually useful or not, because it's just a talk isn't that, I don't know,
useful.
But here this is like more of a personal chat you can listen to in your earphones. No one can clock, and we're going to talk about it. And I think
pretend we're speaking to you one to one.
Especially in like in a Muslim point of view, there's a lot of scholars that can probably talk about it, but that's like a very intense, very
There needs to be like a more social chat about it, if you know what I mean.
People like us, we're like your everyday dummies, so that's what we're going to talk about.
We're just going to chat about our views on it.
Yeah. And hopefully it can help other people and our experiences. So anyway, let's begin then. So let's just introduce my friend here.
Yeah, so I'm Mohsin. I'm also a third year medical student. That's it.
Currently on placement, and we hate it.
I can't lie. First week's been peak. First week's absolutely.
Traveling takes too long, man.
This guy's alright. He's still close here. I have to drive.
I'm not close, bro.
I have to drive 3 hours every day.
Yeah, but I have to train every 3 hours every day. But it's alright because I can read my books in the train. Quite enjoyed it. I read the Alchemist. It's such a good book,
Is it?
Have you read it?
No, I've not read it.
It's all about like personal legends, like following your dreams and that, man. Quite nice.
Oh, you're on about it on the group chat.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good book.
And I'm currently on my list.
Currently, I'm reading the Monk Who Sold His Ferrari.
No, I've not heard of that.
It's about like losing materialism and being connected to the world.
Yeah.
It's trying to gain that, because obviously this world's a lot about materialism these days. But anyways, moving on from that. So let's begin. So we're gonna speak from the point of view of Muslims, but I think we can talk about.
I think we can talk generally.
In general, yeah.
Because it's a problem that affects everyone, not just Muslims. It affects Muslims especially, but it affects everyone. It's a global problem. It's a global pandemic.
Yeah.
It's a global pandemic, just like COVID.
Yeah.
Even worse.
So that's why the episode's called The Hidden Pandemic.
The Hidden Pandemic.
Probably,
it is the hidden pandemic.
Probably the worst thing that affects males to this day. And females to an extent. But
indirectly, it affects them indirectly.
And
not mainly, but women are.
It's much easier for a guy to do it, and it's accessible for a guy. For a girl, it takes longer, and you have to find time and space. For a guy, you can do it in rapid 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
And the thing is, that's the thing. It's a 20-second thing, but it takes up a lot of your time and energy. And that's something. The first point we can talk about. So when you look at like masturbation and pornography, a lot of men can just sit in their rooms all day or somewhere private and just literally in their free time spend the time, carrying out the act.
Yeah, no, but I want to talk about what is porn first.
Okay, let's talk.
What do you define porn as? So what would you say is?
For me, I think pornography is like, obviously the general term is like seeing naked women and men having sex, blah blah blah. But there's different types of porn. Like there's softcore, there's hardcore, hardcore. I've already messed up. Hardcore porn, which is like when you talk about sites like Pornhub and all these sites, and then there's softcore, like the stuff you get exposed to in an everyday in an everyday sense that isn't censored and explicitly labeled as porn, which is I think the main topic of today's conversation, because that's the real that's like the trigger, I think.
Yeah, and to be honest, in my opinion, it's everything. Like if you're open your Instagram and it's just full of half-naked models, in my opinion, that's porn.
Exactly.
If it's like erotic literature, that's porn. Like I like to think of it as if your mum walked in on you watching it and you'd be embarrassed.
Yeah,
that's porn, bro. Like I'm sorry, it's like it's like a smoker using shisha and telling people it's not cigarettes, so it's okay.
It's everywhere, because even in books, because I was reading some popular books like have you ever read It Ends With Us?
Sorry?
It Ends With Us.
No.
Okay, and there's another one, 1,000 Splendid Suns. The way they describe it, but to be honest, I thought that's a bad example because that was like a rape part of the book. But it's in books as well, which is crazy.
It's in books, yeah. It's not even just.
And the thing is, it builds you up because what makes a book good is keep you intrigued, and so what do you slowly talking about it, gassing you up, and then making you feel things, and then it's crazy.
Yeah, literature is more for women than men.
Yeah, building you up slowly.
Men prefer more instant dopamine hits, isn't it?
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I absolutely class books as that as well.
Movies,
everything.
I don't think there's a single movie unless except for like an animated movie.
I mean, even like we talk about the recent TV shows. Euphoria.
Every oh my god,
literally everyone's watching it, and the whole thing is literally just naked women.
And then another thing, what's it called? Love Island. I promise you now, I did not watch a single episode of Love Island.
Yeah.
But I know everything that's gone on.
Literally that.
I know everything.
My whole TikTok feed just.
You're a liar, all this stuff, man.
Twitter and everything is just a bombardment. It's like a bombardment, isn't it?
And you can't escape it. About the amount of times I've seen like these stupid, the heart rate challenges and just them walking around and the little chats. It's such a cringe show. I hate it. But I never watched a single episode, and I still know everything that went on.
Yeah, literally. And remember that, what was that movie called? 365
Oh
days.
my god, that's like a
365
days.
Loads of like Asians.
They said like they've recently released like two more recent. Like the next 365 days and 365 days next or something. I don't know.
That's literally a porno as a movie.
But it's literally.
But then like people trick themselves into thinking, oh yeah, I didn't watch it on Pornhub, so it's not
exactly.
Porn.
And it's like a very dangerous type.
It's very dangerous. It's a slippery slope.
Not even like the whole movie is based upon kidnapping.
Yeah.
Wife beating,
violence.
But the thing is, these kind of movies don't get censored. But when Andrew Tate says it gets censored.
Yeah.
But when Andrew Tate says a topic for another day.
That's a topic for another day.
Anyways,
that's a very controversial topic. I think you'll have to get a more seasoned debater to discuss that one. Yeah.
But the thing is, whether or not you agree with Andrew Tate getting censored, one thing that I would say is they don't censor other stuff that really affects little kids. Like one example I'll give you is the Sidemen. Sidemen is a kids channel. We all say we all agree with Sidemen. Kids watch it. They're obsessed with it. When you see that, that Prime when they went to Asda in Watford or something.
Yeah.
All kids just getting gassed. It doesn't even matter if it's kids, it's young adults as well.
Whoever watches it,
and recently, it's like a softcore porno these days.
I've not seen what's been happening.
One of them, the Tinder series, the video Tinder.
Yeah.
So where they like swipe girls like in real life. They brought on porn stars.
Yeah.
And then secondly, they started saying open your show your assets and stuff like that. And then they showed it on the thing, but it was blurred obviously. And then they said subscribe to Side Plus to see uncensored footage and stuff like that. And that stuff like that is okay. Fair enough, you want to do that, but you have a kids audience, and that's gonna put them in some negative rut.
Yeah.
They're gonna get triggered by that. They might want to buy it, they might want to see it. Then it turns them on, and that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Triggers. These are soft, even though it's blurred. It's just people
there in front of your face all the time.
Why do people get I'll just say it, horny. Why do people get horny? Because the curiosity of the mind, they want to see what's below, blah blah blah, and that's what triggers it from the start. So yeah, it's like that's what we mean by porn. It's like it's always everywhere.
It's ever present.
Music videos,
ever present.
Every single music video has some element of
every music video lyrics has it.
Even if you watch MMA, boxing, the ring girls, half naked girls walking around.
Well, like what actual purpose do they
and without the little
absolutely nothing.
Card,
absolutely
it's really
nothing,
annoying, man.
Except to get into the minds of men.
Yeah, exactly. So it brings them in, reels them in,
It's part of.
It's just.
I know you mentioned the Matrix and other episodes.
It's part of the Matrix.
It's part of the Matrix.
The Matrix.
And in my opinion, it's the hardest part to escape.
It's really hard because
it's the hardest part to escape.
It's directly wired to your dopamine.
No, it is. Yeah, humans have two like basic instinctual needs. When you go out, if say you're a caveman, the two greatest needs you have is to feed yourself.
Yeah.
And to have sex and to reproduce. Let's be real, isn't it? Yeah. That's the two basic human needs, and porn preys on the second one.
Exactly. That's what marketing does.
And that's what makes it so dangerous and so like that's why it's so pushed, because it feeds on that bit. It's literally one of our core drives. If you know what I mean.
Speaking about this Matrix idea, but we didn't even touch about it that much in the last episode. But I'll explain.
I want you to give the viewers your.
Let me explain my opinion on the Matrix. Obviously, you've heard Andrew Tate talk about it, but let me talk about my opinion on the Matrix. So, my idea of the Matrix is that if you look at the most successful people in the world, the people who are powerful, rich, or like just politically powerful, they don't really in like how to describe it, man. It's like a system, the hierarchy of the world. So the high what us people do, like dare I say lower class, but like below the level of power and wealth, is they have all these they surround us with all these negative habits.
Yeah,
this is why they don't censor stuff like pornography or like all these gang culture stuff, because they don't put as much of an effort into it as they do teaching people about debt, finances, all this kind of stuff that would actually help people. But how many people struggle with the finances? Look what they're doing with the gas bills right now.
It serves no purpose to help them either, because the rich will want to be richer and they want to push the poor to be poorer and expand that gap.
I'll give you an example. The newly appointed Prime Minister, Liz, I don't even know her name, Liz Truss.
Yeah.
She refused to put like a windfall tax on the profits of these oil and gas companies that are making record profits. She could easily tax them, and we wouldn't. The country wouldn't be in more debt. So obviously, I'm not a political expert. I don't know what's going on here, but like the average person would say tax the rich, and that means we don't have to pay as much tax to make up for that extra debt you're taking to reduce our gas bills and stuff like that. So so going back to the point, is this system that's designed to keep us all in the low. And like one of them is porn. When you have all these men and kids just indulging themselves in porn and masturbation, what do you think they're doing? They're in their rooms, wasting their time when they could be being productive, being healthy-minded, clear-minded. So that's what stops them from like reaching another level. Then we got like obviously the finance point. Like you don't know about money, so you just work and you pay your taxes, blah blah blah, all this. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just my idea of the Matrix is that the system is designed to keep you where you are, and just push you further down below while the rich get pushed up. So that's what I mean by this pornography thing. They won't censor pornography to the level they should.
I mean, like they say the internet.
Yeah.
The internet, collective internet, more than like 60-70% of it is pornography. Deep how big the internet is.
Exactly.
How much stuff is on the internet. When Pornhub and all these sites are accounting for more than 70% of the world's traffic.
Exactly.
You can understand like the severity of this problem.
Exactly. And there's another thing, that Mia Khalifa.
Yeah.
I think she made a statement once. She says, everyone hates on me, but then her country, she's from Lebanon?
Lebanon, yeah.
Her country watches her the most. Like that's
and it's the same with Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, South Asian countries. They're the ones, like where the scholars and the leaders are denouncing the most. But when you look at the traffic data, it doesn't match up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's the places where the people watch it the most. That's where most of the traffic is.
And that's where.
And it's really confusing, but at the same time we understand.
Yeah. That's where.
There's a lot of denouncing it, but
exactly that's what I was about to say.
There's a lot of denouncing it. Let me word this correctly. There's a lot of denouncing it, but people not doing it. People like to shame others.
Yeah, exactly.
When they're doing it themselves.
Exactly. There's not enough education about it.
Yeah,
especially with South Asians. I don't know. I can't comment on what happens in the white culture.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact South Asians never talk about it.
Never. It's forbidden to talk about it.
And then obviously young kids grow up, they don't know what's going on, and then once they ultimately realize they're already trapped. Like their mind's wired to enjoy it so much.
They've watched porn their entire lives, starting from when they were 11.
Hidden in a hidden way.
All the way till say they're 24, 25.
Yeah, and once they find
out,
they
get an arranged marriage or a marriage or whatever. Yeah.
And then they have a lot of problems in marriage.
And they have problems in their marriage.
Exactly.
There's so many emotional problems, physical problems. Like most spouses would consider watching porn as cheating.
Yeah.
And that is cheating, to be fair. You're gaining pleasure from another woman that isn't your wife.
Exactly.
So yeah, it literally affects your entire life. But you know what you're saying about this part of the matrix. There is no escaping this.
Exactly, you can't escape
like,
it.
It's everywhere. It's around.
This
you.
is what.
So you know what you have to do. You have to build up your defense.
Exactly. This is what I mean. This is why I say, quitting porn and masturbation is 1% about not touching yourself. It's 9% of what's in your mind.
It's a psychological war.
No matter how hard you try, no matter how many I've tried, the content censor thing. Yeah. It doesn't work. It literally doesn't work.
Yeah.
So you have to try. You don't have to try. You have to build up some resilience, saying, you know what, if I see it, I know I'm going to see it. I need to, you know what, make sure I don't.
Make yourself immune to it.
Make sure that, exactly.
Yeah, that's it. And it's like, think of it as like small dominoes. You know, you have a small domino here, and knocks over a slightly larger one, and then it knocks over a huge one at the end.
Exactly.
That's all it takes. Like you see one advertisement on TV of like a woman in a bikini, and that's it. That's all it takes.
Not even on TV.
Not even on TV.
When you go to Asda shopping, George, you got
whatever. Yeah, that sets off that tiny single domino there, and that leads to
it's little things like showing cleavage here.
Yeah.
You know, a bit of skin.
Like the mind desires what it can't see.
And that's another thing. The way we've been desensitized, like these small things, they trigger us because we're craving it that much. We're so used to craving it.
Yeah.
For that, and that's another point. In general, like this is a general point, just in addictions itself. An addiction means you're always consumed with dopamine. So when you big problem with this society is how much time we spend on our phones, social media, and we always get that constant feed of dopamine.
It's the likes, isn't it?
Exactly,
the likes feed our dopamine.
Seeing
it feeds our ego.
Consuming too much content, YouTube. I'm guilty of it. You're guilty of it.
Everyone's guilty of it. None of us can say.
And if you look at our phone so much, our brains triggered, to just love dopamine 24/7, and then we need
more. It's an addiction like every other. Imagine you're addicted to crack cocaine. Imagine you're addicted to heroin. This is no different. It feeds on that same part of the brain, that same loop of the brain.
Exactly.
We've studied it in med school or whatever, but it literally is the same. Like people, like sugar can replace nutrition.
Exactly.
People who are addicted to food.
Yeah.
Drugs can replace your motivation, and in the same way, porn replaces your motivation.
Exactly.
Porn replaces your drive to live.
When you have a higher baseline of dopamine from consuming content 24/7, porn is like that one
and more. So each time, it's like a graph that goes like this, like this, like this. Every time you need more and more and more. So the problem begins when people just start normally and they start watching normal porn.
Yeah.
But eventually that doesn't do it anymore. It's like when an addict takes drugs.
Yeah.
That if he takes the same amount every time, that after a while that same amount isn't going to hit the same.
Exactly.
So he needs more and more. And I'm sure you've seen the memes of people like scrolling to the page, it's like 39,000 page or whatever to find the video. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like it's not enough, and then they tend to like explore more violent. Like it gets more violent. It's a very deep dark hole.
This is why
violent fetishes and disgusting stuff.
This is why marriages will fail and have problems, because you're so you have these expectations of all these different ideas, and you might be left dissatisfied, or your partner might be like, what's going on here, blah blah blah. So that's another problem. Like
it's not like they don't recognize it as an official condition yet, but it's called porn-induced erectile dysfunction, isn't it? So you can get an erection with pixels on the screen, but when it comes to a real person, you can't. I mean, just deep how bad that is,
exactly,
for a second, isn't it? Like you can see how that's just going to ruin a marriage or ruin any relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess one of the main causes is free time.
I think this is why I don't know the stats on this, but I feel like COVID made a huge spike. That's what I personally feel. Anyways.
COVID.
Because if you're trapped in your home 24/7,
COVID was the trigger.
Exactly. Well, it wasn't even a trigger. It was there before, but I feel like it's made it worse.
It's made it worse, not because people had all that free time, and they didn't know what to do with it.
Exactly. You didn't have no job. You got furloughed with this, that. And what you stay at home on your phone.
What do you do? You get bored of games after a while.
Exactly.
Like, what do people do?
Even games have you as well, man.
And you can't see people. You know what it is, yeah. And there's a little acronym that I found online once. Yeah. It's called BLAST, and it stands for bored, lonely, angry, stressed, and tired.
Yep.
So it's these 5 things that lead to a person going and wanting to watch it, isn't it? So bored, lonely, tired, and then free time. Those are the main things. So like when I think you said one time, like to keep yourself busy, Like that's one of the best things you can do, in my opinion.
Because you don't want to get. The problem is if you're always consuming it, you just get. You want
when
more.
You're free, that's when the mind starts to wander.
I just want to go back to the point of he said drugs. Yeah. Obviously, a lot of us don't do drugs. That's like it's hard to use illegal, all this. But to give you an example, I don't know if you drink coffee or tea. At first, when I first started drinking coffee recently for this last exam season, you never used to like coffee, by the way. And now I love it, man. I really love it.
Start hitting it. Low key hitting it.
It's so. I just feel professional using it. I don't know why, man. Everyone comes in with a cup of coffee and that. Anyways, so they have their coffee, but as you have like that 1 cup a day, then eventually you need 2, then you need 3. It's the same thing happens like with drugs. Once you get baseline, you into a higher and higher. Same with porn. Once you get like a baseline, say you once a day.
Say Red Bull, for example.
Once a day, I don't drink Red Bull.
I know a lot of you. I know a lot of you that will view this drink Red Bull.
I get poor off Red Bull, man.
I personally hate Red Bull. It tastes rank, bro.
Taurine. I swear, someone told me bull sperm, and I haven't touched it. I swear that my science teacher told me that once. Yeah. And I haven't touched it. I haven't touched it since.
Okay, I don't think that one's true, but
I swear it is, man. Taurine, bull sperm. I don't know. He literally says bull sperm, innit? That just put me off, man. I can't be asked.
You might be onto something here. Red Bull.
Could maybe but it's bad for you anyways.
It's bad for you anyway.
You shouldn't have
basically you have one. After a while, one doesn't hit any. It doesn't keep you awake. You need 2. You need 3. You need 4. It's no different. It actually is. It's no different.
Should use natural sources of water and stuff like that. So anyways, that was my point. Like the more you have something, the more you want more, and you get used to it. So that's what the same with using your phone, dopamine rush and stuff like that. So yeah, well, so we talked about what is porn, how it happens,
and a little bit more about the problem is the casualistic nature of it.
Yeah,
like it's promoted like you go online, say you go on Reddit for example, and you post about porn. Most people will say it's healthy. So most people believe that.
I've googled it and it says it's normal to be good.
Like most even studies say that it's healthy, it's good for you, but like the effects it's having on people shows otherwise. And there might not be enough studies on it yet, and there needs to be, but it's just like when smoking was happening originally in the last century. All the studies at that time also said, oh, it's not that harmful, and then look what's happened.
I think they speak more from a physiological point of view. What happens in your body? Yeah, it doesn't leave any harmful benefits, harmful effects on your body. They can't
quantify the mental effects.
Exactly, and that's one of the things I want to talk about. Like I said before, it's 1% not touching yourself, 9% of your willpower.
Literally.
If you stop it, your mental willpower is way stronger, and that's what helps you get through life.
Yeah,
you don't get what's it called? You don't get put off by random influence. Like it's like taking a cold shower.
Yeah,
people like in the time of the cold shower, you feel like
you hate it. It's horrible. It's horrible.
But you mentally.
But you reap the rewards afterwards.
After you feel good. That's what you're saying with gym. Yeah. I always say to everyone who doesn't want to go to gym. I say go to gym once, and after see how you feel about it. No one ever regrets going to gym.
Honest, I started about 2 months ago. I started running.
I went today as well.
Honestly,
I hated them. I didn't want to wake up.
I cannot miss a day now.
I love it. That's a good addiction.
That's a good addiction.
It's a good addiction. And that gives you that proper dopamine. You have to work hard for it. With porn and like all these drugs, you have to scavenge for them. You have to find scavenge is the wrong word actually. You have to you can just easily access it. As soon as something's easily accessible and it gives you dopamine, it's just not worth it.
It's not worth it.
That's why you go. That's why
you have to work.
That's why I wanted to go camping, but that idea flopped. Yeah. We had this idea in summer to go camping, but it didn't materialize yet. It'll happen one day. I swear down.
It will happen.
But just
it is. With plans, you have to do it spontaneously. Yeah. Otherwise, people start to find excuses.
The problem going to camping is you need care. You need some care, and like you need to go there and find a spot.
You need to plan and
yeah,
but it's not spontaneous. It's a lot of other plans. But
inshallah. But
I've wanted to do it. I always bring it up.
We need to go camping.
Let's go camping.
The reason I want to go camping is because I just want to leave your phone in the boot of the car. Lock it up. And then go
Tell someone where you're going, isn't it? And just go.
And just go 3 days.
3 days, no phone.
Swim in the cold, dirty water.
Okay, personally, I can't swim. But I'm gonna admit this. I can't swim.
You can't swim.
But I'm terrified of.
You get taught to do it.
I'm terrified of. But I'll just stay in the kiddie pool, bro.
What's the point of that, man?
Bro, I was scared of water, man.
I hate the idea of going to dirty water, but I wanted to go in the dirty water.
Yeah, no, I'll go in water to my knees.
Train my resilience, especially in the dirty UK water, man. And just
bro, it's not even like water, it's just brown, bro.
And yeah, I wanted to just reset my body clock, man. Like my body, just 3 days is enough, but it's like a regular thing. You need to detox, and that's why social media detox is really good as well.
Yeah.
Delete the phone apps, get off it for a few days, and reset your clock.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we talked about boredom, isn't it?
Yeah.
We talked about boredom. Let's talk about loneliness.
Loneliness.
Because most of it happens in the privacy of your own bedroom.
Exactly. No one does it in public. No one does it in friends. Public. That's why. We'll lead on to the advice after, but yeah.
There's loneliness, there's anger, and stress, and tiredness. Tiredness is another one.
Tiredness, I feel like is a when you're tired, you want to go to the bed, and then the bed's a problem as well.
Yeah. And sleep is another problem. Like,
it affects your quality of sleep.
I'm just gonna admit I struggle with sleep a lot.
Well, I struggle with sleep. I have a full-on problem with sleep, bro.
Yeah, it's a constant beef with sleep every day, man.
Bro, I swear.
Bro, I actually can't.
The thing is,
sometimes it's good, yeah. Sometimes my sleep quality, very bad.
My sleep quality, is actually improved considerably last 2 weeks. Because
placements actually, that's what it is. Like, when you're busy, like the sleep hits differently. When you come back home after a long day, like the sleep hits differently.
And what I've been trying to do,
when you've been lazing around all day doing nothing, then obviously it's going to be a bit harder to sleep.
What I've been trying to do is stop using my phone like 1 hour before bed, get the screen ready.
That really works.
Because when I used to go to bed, I used to wake up like, even if I had a full night of sleep, I'd wake up like an idiot, but I'd feel like groggy and all that. But now and then, like sometimes like what's it called? And then I sleep more and more, and I just get even more tired. Does it make sense? And I came to a point where I was like, you know what, F this, man. I need to fix this. I went to the doctors. The doctors didn't do anything. They said vitamin D deficiency. Fixed. I didn't fix anything.
Just get pills to work.
And it doesn't work, man. Yeah. So I said, I'm taking my ice in my own hands. So first of all, I took the curtain off, got the natural light now. But in twins, it doesn't even matter anyways, because I wake up for Fajr anyways.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really affect me that much. But wake up, pray Fajr. That's one. When you do wudu in the morning, that cold water wakes you up. And then just go to sleep on it and settle straight after Isha. Yeah. Just go to sleep.
And I think one of the key things again and again, it comes up routine.
Yeah, routine.
And sleep especially.
Exactly.
Once you lock that pattern in, your brain's just gonna wake your body up at the same time every day naturally. And you shouldn't be using an alarm clock.
Exactly.
Like really, I've read this book about
I say but
alarm clocks.
I say you don't use alarm clock, but I still use alarm clock.
That's the goal there, not to use an alarm clock. Just to wake up naturally at that time. Like alarm clock, it puts you in like a stress environment. There's a study done. It puts you into a stress environment. Oh my god! When you wake up and you just like,
the most annoying thing ever is that iPhone alarm messes me up.
I can't speak. I got the nice little Android one in it. The calm, oceany one. But
nah, bro.
Your one sounds like a war siren, man.
It's so annoying. It's really annoying. Yeah, man. But my Google Home one's way better than that one. It's way nicer. The problem with that is because I leave my phone here in it, next to my desk rather than next to my bed. So I have to get up. But the problem is the Google Home one. I can say, okay, Google, shut up. Then it just shuts up.
No, again, you're talking about the phone. Like, exposure is a problem. Like, most people, including myself, I've not really got rid of my phone before I sleep yet. But you were on our phone before I sleep, and then when we put our alarm on, morning happens. What's the first thing we do? We go to our phone.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you should just literally 1 hour off.
There should be, and inshallah, I'm going to try to do this, but there should be a 1 hour gap either way.
That's what I want to do.
Where you do not go on your phone at all.
Yeah.
And I reckon the quality that will have on your life, it will be drastic.
We as humans weren't designed to look at screens 24/7.
Yeah.
And it's obviously you start mind seeking that dopamine, seeing what's happening on Instagram, what's happening on Twitter, what's happening on TikTok.
Yeah.
I delete TikTok, man. I'd never use it. The thing is, coming from I'm quite a prominent member of TikTok, but the thing is, I don't even use it. That's the thing. I literally don't use TikTok for my own consumption. I just post it.
Yeah. I only get the joy from posting as well.
Exactly.
Like,
it's just
the only thing I watch videos
the only thing I rewatch is his. Sometimes I just watch his TikTok when we're in Dubai. I really love that TikTok. I love that TikTok, man.
He's posted all the comments are his. There's like 20 comments on there, and every single one I'm all going back to it and watching it over and over again. TikTok, it's actually pretty wholesome to be fair.
It's cute, man.
Link in bio in it.
But we're up the link in bio. But yeah, this is another example of the Matrix. Like, I'm part of the Matrix. I post TikToks that people watch and people want to rewatch, but then I don't use TikTok myself for personal consumption. Sometimes I do when I'm really, really bored. But most of the time it's deleted on my phone. I don't use it. And so the thing, Steve Jobs, his kids never touched the iPad.
Because they know how bad it is.
And the McDonald's founder, I don't know, the CEO of McDonald's or something like that. His kids never touched McDonald's and some junk food or something like that.
The documentary The Social Dilemma.
No, I'm watching. I need to watch. Is it a Netflix documentary?
Is it The Social Dilemma?
I swear, it's like one of those tweets I said.
It's a 2 hour long. I think I told you to watch it once. Watch it anyway. It's about how these big tech founders come on and they discuss what they've created.
Yeah.
And I know we've deviated a bit off topic here, but it all falls under the same. It's the same dopamine hit.
Yeah.
From likes, from watching that kind of stuff.
It just shows the effect you can have. Like pornography, it's such a big widespread effect that this is what studies don't measure. Yeah. It affects your sleep, affects your interaction with society.
It affects your mental health. It affects your interaction with members of the opposite gender.
Oh my, this is a big topic as well. In university, if you're a university kid watching this, observe how certain members of the male community interact with females. We've observed it firsthand.
We always bring up in it.
We always bring this up, and what's it called? The way they interact is you can just see. They're very
honestly,
not here to judge, but
time around study areas, just observe.
Especially
just watch people. Honestly,
especially if you come from an Asian community, if you're like Asian university, you just watch and observe how men are seeking dopamine from females.
Yeah.
And the way you view women as well changes. Like it sounds like everyone.
It sounds like a cringy thing.
It sounds like cringy, but
true.
It
literally is true.
If you watch pornography, like you start objectifying women, even normal
subconsciously,
people,
not even like you don't even mean to do it. It's just subconscious.
You won't even enjoy like your conversation with your opposite.
Like if you're just gonna be thinking about sex.
Yeah, exactly.
That's gonna be what's on your mind.
Exactly.
And that's the problem. Like it's always on your mind. On your mind.
You see them as objects, and your eyes just look for the curiosity and stuff like that you've been so exposed to. Like you're so used to seeing naked women and naked men doing it. And there's this woman in front of you that's clothed or showing maybe a tiny bit here or something a little bit there, and that triggers you and saying, I want to see more, blah blah blah. And that's what changes your,
And the whole like emotional like conversation and like trying to attract the opposite gender, and it all leads.
There's a healthy way of attracting the opposite gender.
Yeah, there's a healthy way, and this is the unhealthy way.
See, if you're a woman watching this, and you probably feel very uncomfortable. Yeah, but this is literally the truth. This
literally is what happens.
When you speak to a guy, just observe how they are with you. Yeah. See where their eyes lurk and all that stuff, and you'll see. And there's just a vibe. And can we just talk about the NoFap Reddit?
Yeah, did you have a look?
I've seen this NoFap a million times, but don't really, man. In my personal journey, I've seen it.
And go on there, and it's on Reddit, and I encourage you. There's another one, porn free as
well.
When
I first saw
go on it and read the story.
When I first saw it, I was like, no way, this is true. And I think there's a common theme of women start seeing me differently. My interaction with women are way better. So and that's it's true. Like, do you know what it is? It's not because your body changed.
That studies don't observe, and I don't think they will be able to observe. But the effect that it has on you, it's insane. And it's been documented with so many people. And then there's a weird crowd that are so deep in the matrix that they actually defend it. They defend their way of life.
It's normal. It's healthy.
It's not normal. It's far from normal.
It's weird, man.
It's far from normal.
You become a victim of your own. Like you become a slave to your mind.
You become a slave to your desires, and
exactly.
Islamically as well. Like we want to become a slave.
If you want a high value guy, if you want to be a high value guy, and if you want to be a high value, if you want to attract a high value woman, one probably the most important thing is having that iron-minded willpower, and that's what you get from that NoFap, no masturbation, is because your ability to think,
you're building up your defenses.
First, let's just work post-nut clarity. When you do that, you feel it. First of all, you feel your mind instantly regrets it. You're like,
instant regret.
After a millisecond, 0.001%,
it's the feeling of most intense shame.
You're like, no,
disgust and
tiredness,
and
you're like, I can't believe I just did that.
But then 2 hours later you won't do it again.
When you speak to a woman, and 2
hours later you
exactly
do it again.
And then you have this feeling, and then you have all these like the clarity, like your mind's the clearest. I've said to people, I've said if the entire male population lived with post-nut clarity, we'd solve so many problems in the world, Like diseases would be cured, everything, because all that mental focus would be just directed at solving world problems. But instead, we sit at home doing it. But yeah. So go back to the topic of NoFap and that Reddit. there's these mad stories, but it's genuinely true.
Yeah.
Because
but it's again, look,
your aura changes.
It's literally millions of posts, and each time, you know, the story is the same. My life's gotten better. Like no one says objectively that their life has gotten worse after they quit watching porn.
Exactly. No one has objectively said, when I go to gym, my life's gotten worse.
Yeah.
Everyone enjoys it.
Obviously, when you go too far and you go into the steroids, but that's a small minority, isn't it? But you know, everything when you do it in moderation is good for you. It's good for you. And
except for masturbation.
Whatever you do it in moderation.
Yeah. Except for masturbation. That's not good enough.
That's an exception. That's an exception. That's an exception.
Like coffee, like some people say coffee is bad for you, but coffee is actually good for you in moderation.
In moderation. Same with food. Same with
apples.
Sugar.
If you eat too many apples, you get that. Apparently, can kill you. But that's I think that's a.
Okay,
that's too high.
That's like that's literally down like 900 apples. I don't think that applies. But no, same with sugar. Like I know
you need some sugar in
diabetes, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a huge thing, but like our people are addicted to sugar.
Yeah, and oil.
Like
curry, man.
I'm
trying to reduce the amount of curry.
Bro,
that's another thing. I've been eating healthy, and my sleep quality has improved. You know, because of that.
I need to start eating a bit.
Because I only give myself once a week to have like a chicken burger meal. I love that. So it's so good. It's an instant rush of dopamine, man. I love it. You know, like from DFC, like these like cheaper ones, like those, like
you know, the peri
ones,
like the peri,
like
the dirty ones.
Yeah, the dirty
ones. The ones that mess with your stomach the next day, they often taste the nicest.
Fire, man. But it's like a nice soft bun, chicken like, fillet, salad
with Donny, you know that dirty doner.
I love it, man.
But it's so bad for you at the same time. Bro, you have
but you have to enjoy
you have the post-doner clarity in it, you know, when you go to the toilet afterwards.
So I swear,
and you regret eating it. But at the time, it feels so good.
You know, one thing, I don't want to slander German doner kebab, but me, Hudayfa and my friend Odi, we had a German doner kebab, and we all ended up having food poisoning and diarrhea.
Bro,
I swear something wrong with that German doner kebab.
Bro, I'm not even joking. The last 2 times I've had it, I've noticed raw meat in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Something wrong with them, man.
It's actually something
wrong.
Avoid
German doner kebab.
Well, like, it used to be alright, you know.
It used to be alright.
It used to be
simple. I haven't had it since then. Like, I haven't had it that much.
Nah, man. Like, each time it's put me in the toilet.
And it's proper expensive as well, man. It's like, what? £12 now these days.
But everything's expensive these days, man.
Yeah, that is true. But
a burger meal.
The thing is, doner kebab isn't meant to be that expensive, bro. It's meant to be that cheap thing. You can find it all over the world. You find it in Europe.
It's literally the unwanted part of the time.
So why is it charging so much?
Why charge so much?
I
don't want people for something that's unwanted.
It's like my full
Matrix, bro. I'm telling you.
So when you go to like European countries, you see like the only halal food you can get is like literally doner.
Yeah.
When I went to Poland, all I had was bloody doner, man.
Doner.
And Bulgaria as well, man. Doner, man.
Kebabs and doner.
We literally had enough. But yeah, going back to NoFap, you know, you just build that. You just on a level, go read it. You know, let's pull up one right now.
Go on.
Pull up one right. You can speak about something.
I'll go on Reddit, innit? Let me go on Reddit.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I'll go to this one. This is one I'm on. I'll just go to top post of this month, yeah? You have to type in Reddit.
I know, but I wrote NoFap on the website, and the first thing that comes up is
overhyped or worth the sacrifice. Do you see how they're pushing it?
Exactly. This is Healthline, so people will read this and say Healthline is like a medical, thingy. So, anyways, we will ignore that because we don't want to listen to them. Here we go. So we got compulsive sexual behavior peer support form. Let's just read one story out to people. 200 days.
Yeah. Look, porn is an effortless escape to a world where all your needs are met. How true is this?
That is 500,000% true.
It's literally. And this person says, I can almost guarantee you that if you're in a relationship and you feel more excited about jerking off to porn than having sex with your partner, and your partner is affected by it, if they love you, then they're probably struggling trying to think of how they can be more desirable for you.
Exactly.
So that's one of the mental issues it has. You know, the self-esteem hit not only on you, but like you have the love of your life right there, and you'd rather use your hands instead.
Exactly. I think this is the main point of NoFap, like just stop masturbation. But I think this is like the main thing that really changes your life. This guy says 200 days. Discipline was my main takeaway from this. Only you can combat this habit and prove to yourself it doesn't hold a grip on you. And that's the thing, that's the main theme that changes everything.
You know, one of the things about it is, the addiction itself. I'd say, obviously the effects of, say, cocaine addiction are horrible. The effects of alcohol addiction are horrible. But I'd say it's one of the hardest addictions to quit by far. It's like the example is, it's like an alcoholic with an alcohol bottle in his pocket all the time, but instead of the alcohol bottle, it's the mobile phone. Like it is always there. Imagine your addictions. Imagine a cocaine addict always having access to cocaine.
I think the problem with pornography is that it doesn't have these physical effects. It doesn't have these death as effect or these like medical side effects.
You start losing arms.
You just lose your self-esteem. You lose your
sanity. You lose your self-esteem.
mental health.
You lose your mental health. You get depressed.
Your life revolves around. Literally, your life will revolve around it.
Like,
and if you're a Muslim as well, you feel even more depressed when you can't pray because you need to have a shower again. You can't pray. That's one of the main things. I was about to just go carry on to this point now. Muslim census. Let's talk about this one.
Let's talk about this. So I know a couple of months ago I was just scrolling on Twitter and I discovered this account called Muslim Census, and
it's a great community.
I looked on the website. It's a good initiative.
Great
actually,
project.
Great initiative. So basically, the idea around it is that we can't solve the problems we have without knowing the extent of them.
Exactly.
And we've got enough figures on pornography in the general population, but go online and try find data or studies about pornography specifically with British Muslims, and you'll find nothing. So Muslim Census did a data collection and a little analysis.
But before we just carry on, just a disclaimer. It's not that big of a study, and it's like a few thousand.
It's not five.
But it's good.
This specific one was 530 Muslims.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it's not big enough.
No, but
it's nowhere near representative enough for British Muslims. But it's a good starting.
Yeah,
point. It's a good starting.
That's just a little disclaimer. But obviously, we can still take away from this that we personally know. I think everyone, if you're male friend groups, are locker room conversations and stuff like that,
everyone knows.
You will know.
Yeah, everyone knows. No one talks about it, but everyone knows. So they said, according to our findings, 83% of British Muslims have consumed pornography at some stage in their lives. Now this figure trends upwards. The younger you are. And this
doesn't account for like people who'd say are too shy to admit it, even though it's anonymous.
It's anonymous, but
it's like
even when you're anonymous, like people will still say no because of the shame they feel.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not gonna click yes, but it's a good starting point. And what's interesting? Pornography addiction is not currently a medically recognized addiction,
and it should be.
And it absolutely should be. It's like games addiction.
It's just
recognized that recently. It's
they have recognized that.
Yeah, I think it has been recognized. And what's disturbing is half of Muslims who, according to this study, half of Muslims who consume pornography use it as a source of sex education.
How do we all learn about sex?
Literally
it's
from movies, it's from TV shows.
Exactly.
It's from this sort of stuff.
I swear that basically, I'll tell you a story. So when I was a kid, I used to see Star Plus.
Yeah.
So I used to watch it with my mom, and then randomly these women would get pregnant, and then in the show they say like, because they don't talk about in these Indian shows, they don't talk about sex. It's obviously a taboo topic. So they said, and then all the elders say, oh my God has gifted them with a child. I fully thought just God
sent like Amazon parcels down from the
heavens, bro. I asked my mom, what's going on. How did they? My mom said, yeah, that's what happens.
Like kids used to think like, oh yeah, you just touch him on the belly.
Bro, I was confused. My mom agreed with it. Obviously, she didn't want to talk about it. And my parents didn't let me do that PSHT. They signed me off. They said, they said we'll do it at home. Never did nothing.
Biggest lie ever.
Yeah.
But can we just talk about use it as a source of sex?
Yeah, exactly. So
let's just talk about the porn industry for starters. It's one of the worst, most predatory industries out there. Just go online and read about, the experiences of ex-porn stars. It's truly disgusting. The abuse they suffer, and for the amount of money they suffer it for. It's borderline rape, to be honest. And he's signing your life away. It's horrible. And
it's so
dehumanizing. Dehumanizing. I don't know how people just ignore it, and that's just the normal. That's just the normal, baseline standard stuff. That's not even going into the deep dark hole of people's weird fetishes and desires and kinks and all of that.
And let's talk about pornography in the sense of webcams, private chats, OnlyFans, and this is another plague. And this is one of who Tristan Tate is, Andrew's brother. Yeah. He said this, and I think he summed it up perfectly because they used to run a business, they used to run like a webcam business, and they said these men they say these men have they think they're talking to some girl alone, and you know what I mean, webcam girls on the loan, and then they're trapped in. But these girls are talking to everyone, and this another thing with OnlyFans, people pay money
for exclusivity.
Exclusivity, exactly.
It's because they actually think
and
that it's a replacement for a
how much?
I think
how much did OnlyFans make? Like 400 billion.
400. It's one of the most profitable companies.
I came out of nowhere.
UK company as well.
Exactly, man. It's disgusting, man.
Yeah. And you know the mad thing is, you know what you're saying about having a shower afterwards, and you know the effect it has on your spirituality.
Yeah.
77% noted detrimental impacts on their spirituality.
It's a big problem.
And a further 65% noted detrimental impact on their physical or mental health. And 33% noted an impact on their work or education. I know it's a small sample size, but I think it's just giving us like a preliminary, like sneak peek into the extent of this problem.
And we'll never really know the truth because it's such a topic.
Such a taboo topic. It's a topic that people don't want to admit about. Do you know what I mean? So, and just 4% of Muslims seek professional help. We
did contact a Muslim consensus, but the census, but they didn't reply. Maybe they're
inshallah, busy. They'll get back to us.
Inshallah.
Because I think the actual idea of this is amazing, but I think what they should do now is aim to get out there. They should be going to every single mosque, and like pushing this. We need to get data. No, because we need to. We need to explain to Muslim men that they're not alone.
In that report, they said they had more information, so that's why we were requesting, but didn't come in time.
Yeah.
But that's what me and Mohsin discussed when we were talking about this before. We were saying, well, a good idea to expand for Muslim census is literally to, recruit some people, go around all the mosques in the UK.
Not all the mosques, and you know what else?
Leave the
demographic that watches porn is mainly younger people, isn't it? So where you, but
that's where it starts.
Where you really need to get involved is uni.
Yeah.
So with the uni Islamic societies and the medical Islamic societies and all this and that, it needs to be pushed from there as well. And, imagine the amount of British Muslims. I'm not sure how many British Muslims go to uni in the UK, but I'm guessing it's over 20,000. You know what I'm saying? So, if we start there, and the more data we get, the more accurate our percentages will be, and the more we will understand the extent of the problem. We know it's bad. We just don't know, in quantitative terms, how bad it actually is. Yeah.
And another thing about this idea of targeting teenagers and university students is that when you're a teenager like us, we're in the middle of puberty and all these your brain's how it's wiring is together itself, synapses, all that plasticity. What's you call that term in? I think neuroplasticity.
Don't ask me, man.
Neuroplasticity. I know this because I revise. Neuroplasticity is when your neurons are forming and all these synapses are forming in your brain, and that's your brain is literally getting rewired. So when you're young and you're consuming all this porn consistently, your brain's gonna be literally wired to be addicted to it. That's what makes it so hard. That's another problem with addiction. When you have addiction from young, your brain just literally
it's harder. It's wired that way. It's literally wired that way.
Physically,
and to change that requires
different. That's why it's
a tremendous amount of effort.
Exactly.
And more time people can't be bothered.
Exactly.
It's too much effort. It's too much of a change.
Relapses 24/7.
I reckon the period where you're trying to change is probably the worst.
And another thing is they when especially pornography, people don't really know that
because in that period where you're suffering withdrawal.
I don't think
it's when alcohol withdrawal can literally kill people, and cocaine withdrawal, whatever, it literally kills people.
This one kills you
mentally. It kills you mentally.
Exactly. And another thing with this, the whole idea that people can't be asked to give it up is because they don't really know the benefits of not doing it. They're just so used to doing it.
Yeah.
People, they just say, "Oh, it feels good," and it doesn't have the health.
They say that the grass isn't green on the other side, but in this instance, this is one of the few cases where I say the grass is always green on the other side.
Exactly.
Already,
nothing in life that if you want something in life, nothing's ever easy.
Nothing's easy.
If it was easy,
good things in life aren't easy.
If it was easy, everyone would do it. If you want to be rich, if being rich is easy, everyone would be rich. You know what I mean? That's a similar kind of example.
Yeah.
You need to work.
If being fit was easy, everyone would be fit. But you know what? These things take
effort.
They take time. They take discipline. They take time. It requires effort.
It's another thing with obesity as well. It's people it's okay to be obese, but some people start parading it and start saying, it's healthy, but it's not. So
this is another problem. I'm all for body positivity, but
yeah, exactly.
It's not.
You shouldn't put people down.
Not at the expense of your physical health.
Exactly.
Being obese is not good for your health.
And
it significantly
not just
reduces
obesity,
your lifespan. It has detrimental impacts on your life.
Same thing with anorexia as well.
Same thing with anorexia. Same thing with alcohol. Same thing with smoking. You know, it's not good for you. It's not good for you. And you know, when it starts being pushed that it's, I know, actually it's fine. It's not.
There's a distinction between how someone treats you if you're obese. They shouldn't disrespect you. But they should. But you as an individual, you should know that that's not the right path. Exactly.
You shouldn't be trying to make it out like it's right, and you're consciously choosing that.
I would be willing to bet anyone
who's like that, I'd be willing to bet $1 million that they would, in a click of a finger, if they could be skinny the next day, not skinny but like a healthy weight the next day, they would.
I would argue that anyone who was obese and fought it to become had to struggle to like lose the weight and become like a healthy weight, I'd argue all of them, none of them, not a single one would have regretted it.
No one would regret it. Not a chance.
I'll literally bet my life on that.
Not a chance. But you only see the effects after. You know, like during the change phase.
It's hard to see over the mountain.
And you don't. Yeah, that's it, exactly. It's harder to see the other side. You know, like the grass is green on the other side. In this case, it's literally a mountain that you have to climb over it, and it's not a small one either. It's literally Everest, bro. If you know what I'm saying. Everest, man, it's Everest. Not a hill. It's a
and talking about these judging, there's a point about penis size.
Okay, let's talk about this. Right? So you know what? Porn doesn't just affect men's view of women. It also affects women's view of men. You know, because it's just out there now. You know, say back in the 1800s or whatever, bro, no one used to give a fuck about this, bro. But now, like, everyone's on about like it's 6 inches and this and that, and
it's a joke.
It's actually a joke. Like, there's so many men that are like,
they throw back to Big Danny. Little inside joke. Right, don't talk about this one.
Don't talk. Let's not talk about that one. Anyway, porn has pushed the thing of having a huge, gigantic, unnatural penis.
And that's another thing. Start comparing yourself to other men.
Yeah.
How many people probably go to the bathroom with a moolah and just you know what?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's small, blah blah blah. Yeah. And then it just affects you. There's another way.
And the thing is, it's one of these things you can't change.
It's this hyper-sexualized society.
It's a hyper-sexual, but it's one of these things you can't change either. It's not under your control.
It's like when you're short. Like, you shouldn't feel bad that you're short.
Yeah.
You should always you were given that, make the most of it.
Yeah.
Be proud. There's another thing. It's not about what you have. It's not how rich you are, how strong you are, how fast you are, or anything like that, or how smart you are. It's about what you believe in yourself. That's the difference between like someone who's like some 6 foot tall. Remember that TikTok I reposted? You like when I repost a story?
Which one?
It's like when this guy was like, I'm a 6 foot medical student, this, that. Oh, cringe, man.
That was so cringe, man.
But he was like, as long as you have that self belief in yourself without being cringe about it, and if you're 5 foot, 6 foot,
whatever you do, that journey, keep it private.
Exactly.
Keep it private.
As long as
as soon as you publicize it, you're craving that
confidence is the main.
You're craving that dopamine again, and you're back to the original source of the problem. You know, you have to start and tell a couple of your close friends or whatever, but generally no one should know about it until you've come out the other side. Because until then you're just craving like artificial validation, and you're craving more dopamine.
There's a idea of your confidence as well. Your confidence increases so much because you just have that. I know I keep saying this, but you have that mental fortitude. Like, you just have that, belief in yourself that you're not a slave to your mind.
Slave to your desires. And, the penis size thing, like that, in my opinion, is one of the, the root causes of like the deep insecurity and inadequacy that people harbor. And, like with men, like thinking their penis is too small, in fact, it isn't. It's just, it's normal, man. And it affects their relationships. It affects the way they talk to women. So, it's an issue that's not affecting just men. No, porn affects women the same way it affects men on a lesser extent. Because women and men are a bit different, isn't it? Women, crave the more emotional side of things. But men are more, about instant pleasure. Yeah.
That's why a lot more men cheat than women.
Yeah.
Because they just...
Men want instant pleasure. They don't think before they do it. Exactly. Like Jay said, think with my penis in it. Oh my god. Yeah, but that literally has a brain of its own, if you know what I mean. Like,
it's true, man. It just
overtakes all the rational parts of your mind.
Exactly. But yeah, there's really this quote, like this very powerful quote you wrote down.
Any hour watching porn is an hour lost in your life. You gain nothing whatsoever.
I was not talking about that. I was talking about the one above it.
Which one?
It's hard.
All right, okay. This is a good one. So Brian McDougall.
Wait, stop. Just we're gonna make this in a clip. So why don't you speak about the clip? No, what? No. Why don't you tell us about the quote that very powerful? Wait, I messed it up. Let me do it again. Why don't you tell us about the quote that's really powerful about this?
So Brian McDougall said, "It's hard to imagine that whole generation chain smokes cigarettes without having any idea how harmful they are. But the same thing is happening today with online pornography."
Exactly. We're taught literally about how bad cigarettes are, what they do to your body, but we're not taught.
But back then, people were just smoking them like
exactly.
People still smoke them tomorrow, and people still do it. But I'm telling you, in 50, 60 years, people are going to look back and they're going to realize what a detrimental impact it had on society, and it ruined society.
But with the smoking thing, it's just a lot of ignorance, man. I swear that I see so much. It's like a coping mechanism for like stress, even though there's way better coping mechanisms.
Again, bored, lonely, angry, stressed.
I think I don't know if I mentioned this before, but not today, but like in another episode. But I was walking down. I was getting my vaccines, and I was walking down the hospital, like just the whole complex.
Yeah.
And I've just walked past a bunch of healthcare, like doctors, nurses, all just smoking.
It's weird, isn't it?
It doesn't make sense because
and especially when like obese doctors and stuff. It's like
they literally
you literally study this, and
it doesn't make sense.
It just shows that we're a slave to our desires.
Exactly.
We are.
The thing is,
I can only see a doctor chain smoking 20 cigarettes. It's crazy. It
doesn't make sense.
Crazy.
But why don't
it doesn't make sense, but then you realize but we're the same.
Yeah.
In a way.
What do you mean?
Like we know that this stuff is bad for us.
Yeah, exactly.
But we still do it.
Exactly. It's just getting out of your comfort zone. It's just getting out of these habits, this cycle. The cycle's what kill you. You need to have a good system, a system that's designed for you to, live life to its fullest and without negative habits. But when you're stuck in a cycle, it's different. A cycle is like when you can't get out of these negative habits.
Yeah.
That's what I say the difference between a system and a cycle. I don't know if it's true, but I'm making this up for myself right now. So a system, you design a system. A system is always designed. It doesn't exist. It's just you designed a creator.
Yeah.
A system. You should have a system in your life where you go to sleep on a certain time, so it's good for you. You wake up at a certain time, good for you. You pray at the times you're meant to pray at. You do this. You limit your screen time, your stuff like that. But a cycle is different. A cycle is where you get stuck into it. You run into it and you can't get out, and it just repeats itself. Like a cycle repeats. A system, it doesn't repeat itself. It's meant to be repeated.
It's building on itself.
It's building itself. Yeah, system it just builds you up for great things. But a cycle, all a cycle is goes round and around and like a hamster on a wheel. You're not moving anywhere. You're just stuck in the same pace again and again. And all he does is takes all your energy out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my example of the thing.
In talking about solutions, especially as Muslims. Islam is one of the things that fixes, blast, bored, lonely, angry, stressed, and tired. It hits on all 5 of those points. Let's talk about bored, yeah. So we said that to occupy yourself. It's like free time is when the devil's whispers are most prominent. No, it's when you're most vulnerable to the devil's temptation.
Yeah.
So what would you say to people who are bored all the time?
If you're bored, you need to just take a step back and just think about this is my personal opinion, by the way.
Yeah.
There's millions of different ways you can cope with this,
yeah,
but I'll talk about my viewpoints right now. So I'd say to deal with if you're bored is you need to rethink your life. You can't just look back, and you have to think of what makes you happy. You can't be porn or masturbation, because that's probably what the answer is. So you want to take a step back and you want to look at your life and say, what do I actually enjoy? And it's hard in the society where you're always on your phone. You don't know what you're enjoying. You're consuming digital content. Like how many people go outside and play a sport with their friends, stuff like that. And that's one thing I've tried to do recently. Last week to get football every week. Guardian League.
No, I think it's a great, like you said, mashallah.
Everyone's coming out.
Everyone's coming out, and otherwise,
keeps it competitive as well.
Yeah, no one comes out.
One thing is, I feel this personally
sometimes you have to be the organizer yourself.
This personally helped me a lot,
and you shouldn't have to take that personally.
This personally helped me. One thing that I say, the Guardian League, the amount of beef that goes on in the group chat late at night. I feel like that's it's a good distraction. Blessing in disguise. Because
it's a good distraction.
Because you're just chatting so much. Well, when I tell you now, football group chat, there's arguments, people falling out. There's
every single day, man.
Football,
But if you thought girls group chat was bad, where do you see the Guardian group chat, man?
Where?
I think there's still a couple of active beefs right now, but
I'm not even in the group chat anymore.
This guy stepped down as president and then came back 2 days later because there's a whole civil war going on, man.
But sometimes people leave. Sometimes it's, it's like, at the end of the day,
it's
what?
Funny.
I feel like it's helped.
It's positive.
Because
because that hour spent on that is an hour you're spending not like letting your mind wander.
Especially because we always, when we play football, we always do like a 9, 10 p.m. And so when you come home, you just exactly. So that's probably another prime time when you're about to consume.
That's eliminating that boredom.
Exactly. So that's my response to the boredom thing.
And you know what?
Occupy yourself.
If your friends like aren't like the type to organize stuff, just step up and organize.
Or just find people like.
I mean, I don't take it personally because you know, at the end of the day, it's for your own benefit, and at the same time, you're getting the reward. For benefiting everyone else as well. Like you'd have to think about it in not like a selfish way. If you know what
and there's more than when you do pornography, it just gives you a 1 second high, a millisecond high. When you go to football and stuff like that, like a sport, for example,
it's like a
you see your friends, the brotherhood. You got competitive. We made our football competitive, like with league stuff. You see your friends. You can hang out, getting excited. But honestly, I crave football for a whole week, man. I'm like, get excited. Mostly doesn't pay that much.
Okay. My first game was last week, and honestly, I can say with all my heart that I absolutely love it.
Yeah, but
it's such vibes.
What happens? We were just waiting for
and
football,
I can't believe like I didn't put in the effort to go before because it was a bit far from me.
but yeah, it's really enjoyable. It's good for your health. You build your stamina up and all this.
No, I deep after I went football. I'm better fit, man. I'm better. I stepped up gym after that.
I've been playing months. Yeah, I'm still told. I don't know what's wrong.
I literally got breathless after about 10 minutes.
But
so,
I'm
I'm trying to work on, I'm trying to work on killing that breathlessness, man.
Yeah.
But let's talk about loneliness.
But one thing we're carrying from the boredom is a lot of people say, I asked one of the guys on my placement, what do you do? He just says nothing. I just chill at home, nothing. But there's so much stuff in the world that you enjoy. Like for me, I never thought I'd enjoy going to another country by myself or exploring the world by myself. I did that and I enjoyed it. I never thought I'd enjoy climbing a mountain. When we went snowdon, I hated it, bro. We went to Wales and the cold is like October and it was cold, it was raining, I was carrying heavy stuff. I brought my camera as well. I regret taking my camera. That was really annoying, man. Lugging that around my eyes. I was wearing my contacts as well. And my contacts are not designed to for wearing that for that long because we had a long coach ride. And that was really annoying me as well. And as well, I hated it. But at the end, I look back upon it and I really enjoyed it.
You're sick of it. That's why I say we need to go camping. It's enjoying, man. Need to go camping.
Because it's like once you get to the top, you're like, wow, I achieved something. That's a good dopamine rush.
Yeah, it's a good.
And other things, and
again, it's about the effort you put in.
Yeah, exactly.
It required grit, to get up there.
Yeah.
Anything that comes easy,
willpower.
It's usually not worth it.
Exactly. And that's another thing. So I enjoy doing and going on mountains. I've climbed a mountain in Poland. That's how much I enjoyed Snowdon, bro. What else? Videography. I never thought I'd be a videographer.
No, after you exactly. After I do notice. But basically, find a hobby.
Exactly. There's so much interesting things.
I started picking up all sorts.
But I have so many hobbies now that I can't. That's why I'm gonna write them all down. Probably I'll do it after this. Write them all down. I need to focus on a few now. I'm trying to juggle between so many different things.
Like me, literally videography, photography, 3D art, 3D animation, drone photography, drone this, whatever, man.
I love watching videos on color grading. I love it.
Color grade, yeah. Just 1 hour, I'll just watch
the way it just changes.
Bro, I'll watch flipping color grading videos, and there's me colorblind. Yeah, not even being able to see the color. He's colorblind. No, honestly, I love it.
And this kind of stuff gives you a good dopamine.
It gives dopamine, yeah.
And it makes you.
When you follow a complex tutorial, you're there for 2.5 hours. Replicating every.
I struggle with tutorials personally. I can't because my brain's been conditioned to just be used to 5-second clips. Yeah. But I need to sit down and do some more. But my main thing.
So the way I learned 3D animation, 3D rendering, and all that was, I literally just watched hours and hours and hours of tutorials and just followed along, click by click, and eventually you get to a point where you've learned most of the techniques, and then you can just go out and replicate whatever you see.
See, that's 2 hours you spend.
Honestly, and
collectively, and you did it consistently in it.
Yeah,
you learned that.
Been doing it for 4 or 5 years.
Exactly, it's exciting. And when you watch, when you watch these color grading or these people doing video editing, it just inspires you. It makes you flex your creativity.
When I see on TikTok,
everyone's creative to a certain extent. Yeah. I don't care if you say you're not creative.
Everyone is.
You always find a way to be creative.
Exactly.
Potential. And you can it makes you ambitious. I'm looking
around now at Aman's studio, and I'm actually in shock. 2 years ago, would I have imagined Aman doing this? Not a chance in the flipping world, bro. Not a chance in the world.
Multimedia podcast. You saw me 2 years ago. It was a joke, man.
If you saw either of us 2 years ago, we were both joke men, man.
I was in this university group chat just waffling. I still am, to be fair, this way, but I'm not as bad as I was.
Just violating people, but no, we're a lot tamer than we are.
Exactly. But this is really like.
But this is the development. This is self-development.
Like this, I enjoy like making the studio. I swear that I wake up in the morning sometimes. I just stare at my studio. I'm like, wow, I really made this. I'm really proud of myself. And that's a good dopamine boost.
It's a 60. All that's 60 studio. If you could be here watching this right now.
Thank you.
From my
it looks way better in real life as well, man.
Yeah.
It's all the colors,
the pictures don't do it justice.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the cure to boredom.
That's the lonely. And you know the loneliness bit. I want to talk about where Islam can help you.
Okay, go on.
So, you know what it is? The way porn works is you're doing it in a very private way. No one has to know that you're watching and jacking off porn right now. I mean, if you knew that your mom was watching you, you wouldn't do it, would you?
Exactly.
Like the shame and the shame and the disgust you would feel. So imagine that same disgust when you think that Allah's watching.
Another thing is, if you think your parents don't know, they know 100,000%. They 100% know. They just don't mention it to you before you don't.
Because they don't want that conversation. Yeah. It's hard for them as well. But I trust me, they know, man.
They know.
They know. You know when you're taking a shower at 2 a.m. Yeah, they know what you're doing. They know what you're doing.
Oh.
In Ramadan, yeah, when you're taking a shower at 2 a.m. you see these memes, but when you're taking a shower at 3 a.m. yeah, they know what you're doing. But most importantly, yeah, Allah knows what you're doing.
Exactly. You should always think that your parents just behind your back.
Yeah.
You should know that God's behind your back as well.
Like I said, at the very start, if your mom came in on you and saw you watching it, and you'd be embarrassed, don't do it.
That's one. Do you know why the main word around this is accountability? Your mom or God will hold you accountable. So that's why you should hold yourself accountable as well. Once you master the skill of self-accountability, you will be I promise you'll be a way more successful person than you are right now.
Yeah, 100%. Accountability and be accountable for yourself, but also like just in back of your mind, Allah's watching you.
Exactly.
He's the all-seeing.
And it's not even that. It's just that it's like it also affects your relationship with God because you're literally because you won't be able to pray on time. Sometimes you just have to miss prayer because you don't want to take a shower.
Because you're in a state of impurity.
If you're outside and you can't access a shower and you want to pray, you can't pray.
It's actively severing that tie you have.
Exactly.
Like, that's why in the Muslim census it said that's why it's so detrimental to your spirituality.
Exactly. And
it destroys like the spirituality of even non-Muslims. So imagine what it does to our faith.
Exactly. So that's with the loneliness, and just even if you don't have friends, make them this. So if you're a Muslim, you can go to a mosque and you make friends. I'm telling
you, we've started placement, and I got placed in a very, very non-brown town. Yeah. going from Birmingham to like Worcestershire, it's a complete shock. But I'm telling you, you go to the prayer room, yeah.
There's someone
you'll find someone.
When I'm in Poland,
you'll find someone.
I didn't see a single Muslim in Poland, but once I went to the mosque. It's a tiny little room in a dingy building, and it's full of brothers everywhere, man.
Literally, and it's so easy to make friends as well.
Exactly.
Literally, just start talking, and it's literally once you start talking, that's it. And I know a lot of people have social anxiety and this and that, but it really is, as simple as taking that first initial hard step. And
make the effort to.
Like, I wouldn't say myself as the most like, so sometimes like I'm around in uni and I don't really talk that much to people like that, but I'm not the most social person. But it's not that hard making new friends. To be fair.
And just like even if you have your existing friends, you meet them up more. Talk to them more.
Be the one who organizes.
Exactly.
Like I don't know why it's this weird dynamic that they have in friendship groups, isn't it? Like. If you're not organizing it, I'm not organizing it.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if one person is, like the designated organizer. That's fine. Not everyone, has the ability and the planning and the vision Like, look at the Guardian League, man. Like this guy like printed kits and like, bro, we were in exam season, bro. Let's not talk about exam season, right? That's one L we don't talk about. But in exam season, we're all revising. So we was like, come on, let me see how much work you've done. And this guy turns his laptop around, and I see a half of its schematic design for the Guardian League. So this guy's out there like sorting out teams and constitutions and for like Article 3 of the Constitution. Article 3B. 4B. Tell the guy that Article 3.
That was a funny joke, man. That was a funny joke. Go. Let me explain this story about it. So basically, me, Mohsin, and I think Daniel, we were sitting around and we said, we have this essay we have to do. and we hate essays, so he's like, let's just bang out most of it. So
me and Danny were banging it out,
and then I was
this guy was tapping his keyboard like,
focused. I was focused.
This guy was doing 300 words a minute.
And these guys was like, wow, these guys do their
work. This guy's
work.
on it, man.
Let's see you work. I should
turn the laptop around, and he's, bro, I see a flipping master plan, man. It's like I'm thinking like this guy's a money heist, man. So he writes like this flipping 2-page constitution. Bro, actually calls it a constitution.
Bro, listen, everyone was violating the rules in the group, so I had to put them straight, man.
Yeah.
But this is another example. This is
again, Aman stepped up, and he actually set everyone straight.
This is
accountability. So I'm gonna tell them what article.
Okay, I'll tell you about article. So basically, we had this big problem of people missing football games to talk to girls or attend parties, haram mixed parties. We won't name who they were, and I'm guilty of it too. Everyone was guilty of it at one point. I think everyone had a bit of evidence sent to the group chat.
Every time someone was caught, video evidence would be sent to the group chat, and article phobia would be violated, and there would be a penalty.
So
and you know what? Like, people actually started being careful.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe they weren't better with more.
I was a bit hit and miss sometimes.
Yeah. But it was a funny thing.
It's funny, man.
A funny thing.
But Raw helped. I can't even lie. Raw helped. But this is going to
like literally like in the main study room. Say someone got caught. A man would be screaming down the hall where everyone's sitting article 4B with the camera in the face. Not just one person. It'd be like 5 different angles of it as well from 5 different viewpoints.
But let's take this back to boredom. That's something that I was passionate about, like the football thing. And I spent if you get bored.
This guy actually spent
we got bored of revising.
Yeah.
So some people, if you're at home, especially if you're revising, you want to go home. You might want to do a masturbate. But instead, I followed my passion and did something that I was enjoying. I did so much work. When you're passionate about it, you could spend hours on your 3D art and
literally
stuff.
Hours, 5, 6, 7 hours.
That's why some days you just didn't do revision. You just did
art.
And
it's
good because that's good distraction. You need a break and stuff like that. So yeah, let's go back. Anyways, go back to the loneliness part. So we talked about loneliness. We talked about boredom. When you're lonely, make friends. Fine, go out with your friends. Organize stuff. Go out. And just don't leave yourself isolated, because no one's ever enjoyed isolation. Like I tried to go on this hyper focus, no talking about.
It doesn't work. So basically, this guy had a phase where he tried to cut everyone off. Like he literally went ghost, and 2 weeks he goes, bro, can you add me back to the group chat?
No, it wasn't like that. It was because
it was like that.
No. I got caught by Uzair in the med school. He's caught me, and then when I talked to him, I kind of missed all the contact. And then I was like, you know what?
You missed all the boys, innit?
Take me back, man.
Yeah,
take me back.
Take me back.
But yeah, anyway, next point now. So we got loneliness, boredom. What was the last one? Anger. Yeah, anger. I don't know how we describe.
So basically,
you speak about this one.
Anger, people do it out of spite. So they go to work, they have a confrontation, and they're pissed off. And they come home and they release that anger by
yeah.
Basically, to try to let it out.
I think this is a. I don't really know much, but I can't really comment much. But I don't know much about from my general perspective of the understanding of anger, just find other ways to exert anger. You could do cricket and slap the ball as hard as you can. Ball,
go to a rage room,
go to a boxing gym, bro. Actually, I don't uphold boxing. Boxing's haram. So yeah,
is it?
It is. But no, it's boxing when you hit the head. Actually, hits the head.
Is it? I didn't know that. I'm educated.
You're not meant to get brain. A lot of people get brain damage from it as well, innit? But you can get body shots. But that's allowed.
Is it?
Yeah, but on the head is
wrestling is the one that's incredible.
Wrestling, I love wrestling, man.
Grappling and wrestling. But basically, whatever, just release it in a different way. Exactly. And again, we go back to it. I know, it's stereotypical, but gym. Again, gym
but how many? Listen,
let's
be real, yeah. In society, and especially people as us, and white people, Asians, Muslims, everything. When I think a lot of us have experienced heartbreak and sadness, and one thing that is a common theme, you see it all the time. When you see
on TikTok,
the gym videos, and it says who hurt you and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's true though. When you're angry and you're sad, if you go to the gym and use all the power into it, you become some next beast, bro.
Yeah, literally.
You literally become some next animal.
Using that anger is harnessing that.
Yeah, it's like having control.
You can't avoid getting angry. Everyone gets angry, isn't it? But it's about how you use the anger afterwards. It's where you channel it. If you channel it into negative things, you're just gonna feed into an endless feedback cycle of more anger and more spite, and it's not the healthy way. And
another thing is, if you want to be a high value man and you want to be attracted to women and stuff, which is one of the main reasons you watch porn and stuff like that. On the topic of anger, no one is scared of a guy that's just screaming and shouting at you because that just shows they have no self-control.
Yeah.
Well, you'd be more scared of someone who's silent and just staring you down like, I know I could F you up, bro.
No,
but
there's a Reddit story, yeah. Bro, Reddit, I don't know, Reddit's very
bro, I love Reddit, man.
I love
if
Reddit,
you guys
man.
here's a piece of advice for anyone watching. If you ever need
bro,
an answer
delete Insta, delete TikTok, download Reddit.
If you ever need a question answering straight to the point without
Google,
without bollocks, without affiliations, without blogs, without all these waffle ads, anything, just go write down your question, put Reddit after it, and you get a realistic example. Like with this, when you want to look at like doctor pay and stuff like that, there's all these waffle about thingy, but when you actually just write out what is the salary of a doctor, Ready, the real doctors will tell you what they actually make post tax, this, that.
Yeah, they'll tell you everything.
More real life examples.
And you know the thing is, in terms of social media platforms, it's one of the ones where the dopamine hit isn't there because it's anonymous. You don't know who's behind it.
And another thing,
no pictures behind
social media is literally like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I don't know about much about Twitter, but TikTok and people tend to just post the best parts of their life.
It's the same with Twitter, to be fair.
Yeah. But I feel like
it's a bit more personal. Like people try to
sometimes there's a lot of and TikTok as well.
Eventually, at the end of the day, it's the same thing.
TikTok, there's a lot of sad people as well. But the thing is, a lot of TikTok can make you sad as well because people going traveling. Like some people don't find it easy to travel. The money, time, the work or family.
It's the only the highlights.
Like I'll say even if you're a well-off girl, you could be watching our TikToks and traveling, and you could get sad because there's some of them at the house. So it's just everywhere. So that's what the problem is supposed to be. It's not just like people showing the lavish.
You know, they say comparisons that people.
Exactly. But that's why that's what people about Reddit. People are just honest.
Yeah, people are just
and honest. It's straight to the point as well. So anyway, that's a bit of advice from Reddit.
No, I just forgot what story I was going to tell, but go on. Anger.
So we went to anger. My point was just about let me just conclude my anger. So just learn to find ways of controlling your anger and express in different ways than just feeling shit about yourself and just going to the bed.
Definitely easier said than done, but it's not impossible.
Exactly.
It's not impossible at all.
It's not easy to start gym. I hated gym when I first started. I felt weak. I felt I couldn't be arsed.
I can't lie. I still hate it right now.
I'm in that phase. I'm
in the phase of I love it some days, hate it some days.
Sometimes when I can't lift the same weights I did before, I'm like, you know what? This is long. But sometimes when I'm like, boom, wow, I'm doing it. I'm feel gassed, man. The dopamine's gassing me up, man.
You know when you see that your personal record increased by that tiny.
And you can also make friends in gym because everyone in gym was like you once.
Yeah, most of the time. You know that people are scared of going to gym because they're scared of people gonna make fun of them, bro. Ask any of the big people to help you. Yeah. And watch how excited they get.
Exactly.
They get so gassed because they were at their
give them a nice little compliment, and people need to be more nicer in life, man.
Yeah.
In gym, everyone's just like stone cold high, doesn't that, man?
Yeah, everyone's got.
Should I tell you a story today?
Poker face.
Today I felt quite good today, man, because I was going to gym. I'm not gym, man. I was going to Jumma today, and I left the house a bit late because I lost track of time because I was gonna do it in the hospital, but what's it called? I was getting late, so I was running to the mosque. You're not meant to run, but I had to run in it. And some guy was just driving past. He said, "You going Jumma?" I go, "Yeah." And he just said, "Come in," and he just took me.
Did he?
It's so nice.
I absolutely loved.
And then he's having a conversation with me, and the guy said, "What do you do?" His family's full of doctors, and he was like a charity worker, and it's just nice.
I absolutely love that.
It's nice. It's a bit awkward. When I left the car, I was like, I didn't know what to say. We just walked it because you're not meant to speak when you're going to the mosque and stuff.
Yeah.
But then just before I entered, I just make sure I shook his hand and said thank you, and then we went.
That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
That's what I love. That's what's nothing but
it's these little things in life.
Exactly.
That's actually made my day.
And it's really nice and it's really cute, man.
Really, really cute.
But yes, go on. Let's go to the next point then. Stress.
I think that's
stress is the problem. Stress. And I mentioned this probably 100 times in my podcast, but I'm gonna mention it again. There's this one tweet that it's one of the tweets you said once. It's about your grandparents in Pakistan, and he said they live in the villages, and they could go to work for 4 hours, come home and relax, have a nice afternoon nap.
That's it.
And in the UK and Western society,
we're earning 10 times, 20 times more, but we come home and
everything has every hour has to be spent productive, or you watch someone else doing something, you're doing this, I need to be productive, I need to do this, I need to do that. There's so much going on in your mind.
If your grandparents are still alive, I would urge you to go ask them about their life in Pakistan before, or Bangladesh or India, wherever they come from, before they came to the UK. I mean, they'll 100% tell you that they would give up their money to go back to that lifestyle. And it was that lifestyle of waking up in the morning for Fajr, going to work for 3-4 hours, having your afternoon nap. That's one thing. Afternoon naps. Yeah. So underrated, man.
Bro, I said afternoons are so good. There's sunnah as well as on day.
There's sunnah as well at 50. But then you understand why, because you know what? In Western society, we're like, we the concept of free time is seen as like
you have to be productive.
Demonic. You have to be doing something all the time, but
people don't make time for themselves anymore.
Yeah, people don't make time for themselves anymore.
Like it's simple things like even with like music and stuff like that. Like sometimes when you walk in, like you have to have your earphones in. Like that's something I've been trying.
Walk in silence.
This is what I've been changing a lot recently. I've literally tried to just leave my earphones.
When you have a shower, just have a shower without music. And you know what I mean?
It's just leave your earphones behind and enjoy the air and just enjoy just being.
Enjoy the cars going past. Look at the cars going past.
Just enjoy.
Look inside the cars.
Look at the trees. Look at the way every leaf. And something as simple as a leaf, it required so much effort and like there's so much intricacy in a leaf.
See the beauty in life.
Yeah, but I think with music as well, when you listen to, people don't listen to a million different songs in a day. In a day, they listen to like the same 5 songs on repeat. And especially me, I really like music, man. But you know what? When you listen to music though, you're constantly thinking about the same thoughts again and again and again, same lyrics again and again and again and again, and it's cycle. It's
classical conditioning as well. Do you know what it is? You know, like when you listen to those certain songs at certain moments in your life, you associate that song with a particular feeling.
Exactly.
So even when you're not feeling good and you play that song, and it instantly takes you back to that moment of your life.
Every single song I listen to, all of them have like a specific vision. I have a vision or memory. And then when I listen to just like that same, it's on replay. Some people say to me, they don't think about anything when they listen to music. They're capping, man. There's no way. You tell me just listen to music for the sake of music.
I can't lie,
Don't tell me.
I'm not gonna tell you that, but I listen more to the beat than the lyrics.
But no, I forget the lyric. But like the beat is the main thing. But the beat's like my beat's like a soundtrack to my visions in my mind. Like sometimes if I listen to some cool song, I imagine myself pulling up in an Aston Martin.
Yeah, fair enough. I agree with you.
But no one, they say to me they don't think about anything. Yeah. They're capping, man. I refuse to believe you can't think about nothing. But yeah, so when you're stressed, but the thing is, it's hard to escape the stress in life, especially in the Western society.
You're gonna be stressed at some point.
But what I'll tell you,
I guess you know what I want to say about stress is, I think the key to battling stress is to switch off when you come home.
Exactly.
You know, to turn your emails off, turn your phone off. You don't want to be like, now you're expected, when you come back home from work, you're expected to be like answering work emails all the time and be on call, and you want to separate your home life and your work life.
Or prepare for tomorrow. Or this one thing you want to do is like especially even in work, like stop giving your mind so much things to consume. You're not meant to like have this much. Even with social media, your mind was not. Back in the day, people weren't designed to interact with hundreds of people in a day and seeing hundreds of people's lives. People tell like 5-6 people in a day, seeing them around and then come home and then
hyper stimulation.
It's exactly so.
So it is again. When we come back to the topic of porn.
Yeah.
Do you know why like men can't find partners? It's because their expectations. They've been overinflated because realistically, right? Let's take ourselves back to the 1800s. Like you said, you're gonna wake up. You're going to see the same 100, 200 people in your town or your village or whatever, and that's going to set your expectations. Now with porn, internet, TV shows or whatever, what's going to happen is you're seeing millions of women and you're and you're only seeing the good parts as well, so your expectations are being way overinflated. So when it comes to reality, it doesn't hit the same. And again, with like porn, people choose the fake over the real.
And another thing is when you're like back in all days, people didn't like spend the time. You didn't know that much about other people's lives. You literally didn't know. You could walk around. People don't have as much genuine conversation as they do before. Like that's why this is like a small side note, but this is the reason why I love WhatsApp more than like Instagram and all these other ones.
I actually love WhatsApp.
Do you know
WhatsApp? I'm telling you, WhatsApp is the goat. Is the goat. It's the superior social media.
The reason I mainly use WhatsApp is no one uses.
I know that people make memes and stuff that in our age. It's like an auntie uncle like social media. But I'm telling you, WhatsApp is the best.
First of all, it's not slow.
Forget Instagram. Forget TikTok. Forget
no
Twitter,
fancy animations.
Forget Snapchat. Bare bones WhatsApp.
Should I tell you the main reason I love it though? Is because in Instagram, Snapchat, when you can just see someone's life, like if they go to another country or they're doing something, you just see in the story and that's it. Or maybe you pop up with like a few more saying, "Wow, well done." Or like, how interesting. But when you have WhatsApp, this is when I just had WhatsApp back in the day. I didn't have WhatsApp, any other social media but WhatsApp for like 1 year, and it was so good because when I talk to people, I could talk literally about like if people genuinely ask how was your day, what did you do recently, I could tell them about it, and then I could show them the pictures after rather than seeing my pictures posted on a story and whopping up. It's more genuine conversation and stuff like that.
I agree.
And that's why that's the thing with stress and just overstimulating your mind with all this content, because you just see so much, you consume so much from not even just pornography or like good things, just like you just absorb too much information a day that fatigue is such a. I never thought fatigue or burnout was a thing. I thought I was immune to it. Like
fatigue is a thing.
When I was a child, I was like, who's gonna get burnt out, bro? It's not that deep. It's not that deep, but it's a genuinely deep thing that everyone experiences. You might think you're immune, but you're not. I thought I was.
In terms of how we can translate this to advice, I'd say if your group chats on Snapchat or Instagram or whatever, I'm telling you, try and move it to WhatsApp for a bit and see.
Or just disappear.
And see what happens.
Just another thing is just disappear. Don't even mention it. People who want to talk to you will find a way to talk to you.
Yeah, true. It's harder for me to do that. I tried doing it, but it didn't really work for me. But it might be easier for some people.
What do you mean?
Like
no one popped up.
No.
That make me sad, but I thought I popped up, man.
No, it's not that. It's just it's harder to disappear. Do you know what I mean?
I find it really easy to disappear. I don't know why, man. I can easily just delete and think bun you guys, man. Couldn't be asked.
Yeah, fair enough.
But that's the problem. Things they're stuck in a cycle of you need to talk to people.
That's my problem.
Exactly. So everyone has a problem.
Everyone has their problem, and none of us are immune. And even Aman, like after a while, he download all these apps. You know what I mean? Like you can't stay away from.
Listen, I'll be one thing. I haven't used Snapchat for 2-3 years. Well, 2-3 years now. I don't use Snapchat.
I don't use Snapchat.
I hate Snapchat. It's a dry app.
The only reason I have it is because there's memories in it.
Yeah,
once I download all them,
I've just left my memories there. I can't be asked to look at them again. Yeah. I'll probably one day find.
I enjoy like looking back sometimes.
And
looking back to high school memories and that.
Another problem with the Snapchat is the quality is absolute dog.
Especially on Android.
But even Snapchat, we just like you have the nice 4K cameras and you record in like 480p. But
what, even an iPhone?
Yeah, like when it's saved into the memories and it's not saved as like full.
I don't know. I wouldn't know, man.
But yeah. Mohsin's joining the iPhone gang soon, though.
I'm joining soon. I'm joining the Matrix. I'm joining the
Apple is a Matrix as well, man. Ecosystem, man. But it's a good. Apple is a good. It's a good ecosystem, though. It's a good ecosystem. It's so smooth.
It's a good ecosystem, but it's also.
It traps you in. Yeah, it traps you in. But
I can't lie. I'm not gonna get any of the Apple product. It's just iPhone.
No,
you know what it is.
I'm
back then, the things that Android. I used to be bare into customization. I still am.
Yeah, I did as well.
Like these days, like
you need an iPhone.
I don't care anymore, man.
But listen, I have a phone for 4 years. I don't need to. The thing with iPhone is way more longevity.
Depends. Yeah, generally.
Come on, man. Android slows down, man.
Not these days.
It does, man.
I've had this for 3 years.
And it gets outdated easily.
I've had this for 3 years.
I know, but like that's the pixels, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly, but pixels are different, and the pixels always updated. Yeah. Samsungs and these ones, they all get outdated really quick, and they don't have so much support for years. Apple is, it's smooth. It does me well. It does what it needs to do.
No, I'm not. I'm agreeing.
Yeah, but it's obviously the problem is they create this massive monopoly where once you get in, you can't really get out.
Like once you get the iPhone, you need the AirPods, you need the iPad, you need the MacBook Pro.
But the thing is, to be fair to them though, using AirPods is so simple. You just put them on, instantly connected. With the Bluetooth one, you have to wait for it to connect and that. Anyways, you do, man.
Which Bluetooth one do you have to wait for it to connect?
Like no, it's not instantaneous.
It is.
Is it?
My buds are instantaneous.
So you just need to put them.
As soon as I put them in my ear, they're connected.
Oh, that's sick then, isn't it? Oh, they've cashed the core.
Oh, look at all these Apple fanboys deleted. Yeah, I think they're the only ones with this. Yeah. Same.
Anyway, moving on from that. That's just a stress thing. So my advice for this one is when you're stressed and if that's the reason why you masturbate is deplug from the world if you can. When you go to work or you go to university, try not to take your AirPods or listen to music. Just have some clarity in your mind. When you come home, try not to think, I need to revise, I need to work, I need to be productive. Just sometimes take a break. Prayer is a break as well. Just saying. You don't even need to. It's good to read Quran, but you don't need to say I need to read Quran. Just sometimes literally just sit down.
I know like people are gonna think about this, but I understand what Aman's saying.
Listen, you don't need to read. You don't need to be Islamic 24/7. Like that's one thing I don't agree with. Like with Ahmed and like Isaac, this is one of my things. Like I feel like it's just
be careful.
I'm careful. No, I'm not gonna criticize Ahmed. It's a good society, but one thing I just I don't like. I'm not fine. Is like just being too serious all the time.
Not everything is.
Yeah, people aren't meant to be perfect.
Like, some problems like this aren't an Islamic problem.
Yeah,
it's a general human problem, and the solution.
Yeah.
Yes, we have Islam as an extra thing in our toolkit, but and Islam also encourages gym and exercise.
Yeah, and relaxing.
But the solution is it has to be universal because it has to help the people who are Muslim as well.
you don't need to go to like read Quran 24/7. You just go to read Quran, and you should always, all of us should strive to read it. But if you're just constantly, like, if you come home from school, read Quran and do this and do that and do that, you have no time for yourself. Honestly, so just sometimes just take a walk with no music. I do that a lot. I don't take my AirPods when I go out on a walk. I just enjoy the wind, and it just honestly feels nice. Sometimes I struggle to take. I'll be real. Sometimes I struggle to leave my AirPods at home. I say, oh, when I get bored, but the times I don't, I love it, man.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. And the last T is tiredness.
Tiredness.
So with this, I think
this is like one of them things like. It's like what's that term, like when it's like you don't know if it causes that and
it's like the chicken and the egg, innit? Like what came first?
Yeah.
Chicken and the egg. With tiredness, I think one of the main things, like from what I've read about and what I've researched, with tiredness, it's people doing it to get to sleep.
Yeah, that's I'll admit when I used to do it, it's like it helped me go to sleep. It's like when you're in bed, last thing you do,
you tire yourself out, and then you just knock out in it. And tiredness and go to sleep, but the problem is, like, say you do it in the day, it makes you tired.
Exactly, and then it affects you.
And then you're tired, and you do it because of that, and it's actually an endless loop.
Also, it affects your quality of sleep so much. I swear down. You wake up feeling like an idiot. First of all, when you wake up, you can't pray Fajr, which is another problem. So if you can't pray Fajr, you instantly already feel sad. And then that's another thing.
That's the start of your day messed up already.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even been 5 minutes. It's not even been 5 minutes since you've woken up.
I don't encourage people to. Sometimes when you have a bad morning, you shouldn't let it try not to let it affect your rest of your day. But
it lucky does.
But you need a good morning set you for the rest of the day, man. You need to have good. When I have a bad morning, I just feel like I'm gonna start again the next day.
My biggest problem is sleep. And that's the thing I'm going to work on. When
I come home from base, I feel like I want to do some stuff.
When I don't get good sleep, my whole day is ruined. I'm in like a little bit of like a.
But listen, you're like a robot, and you can manage to do it. Like, I don't know how you do it, man. Sometimes you
just do what you need to do.
You're on 2 hours of sleep, and this guy's like a 10-hour shift on making Ankies and revising them. I could never do that, man. I swear down.
Sometimes you just gotta do what needs to be done. But like a lot of the time, it actually does ruin your day. You're more prone to anger. You're more prone to stress. You're more prone to all the boredom. You're more prone to all the things we discussed before. And if you don't get a good start to the day, like you don't get good sleep, you don't get another thing, breakfast. Have to have breakfast.
I mean, sometimes for me, I don't have breakfast until I've done something. I've done at least something that's physically intensive, or I've done something.
I don't agree with that.
I think
I think you should start.
This is something. No, but I've always
with a
plus when I wake up, I pray first, and then I go to the gym and stuff.
Without breakfast.
Yeah, maybe sometimes I drink a coffee because if I'm too tired.
Yeah.
Or like a banana, but I don't really. Most of the time, I just wait till I come home because I don't want to feed into my dopamine rush straight away.
Yeah.
And plus, I can't be asked to spend some time making breakfast in the morning, straight in the morning.
No. I don't fully agree with that, but fair enough.
Yeah, it's different.
It's different. Yeah, but don't skip.
The main theme is you just need to have a good morning.
Yeah.
And that sets you for the day.
However you have a good morning, basically.
Another thing,
in a healthy way.
Another thing was when you miss your Fajr prayer, it makes the rest of your prayers harder. Like you could have a shower after and pray your Zuhur and that, but you just like you can feel like it's not worth doing the rest of the prayers, or honestly, when you have 5 times a day prayer, you feel so good, you feel so light, and you feel clear. Like when I wake up for Fajr now, because I used to always miss Fajr because I just sleep past or didn't have wudu. When I wake up now, and I do all for the rest of my prayers, I have more clear. I take my time with it. I do all the rakhats. Normally, sometimes I just do two the essential ones. When you do the other rakhats and stuff like that, and it sets you up so nicely. And you don't go to sleep as well. If you sleep just before Isha, you have a nice session of 17, 12 rakhats, or however much you want to do, and it just feels so good.
And like for me, because I struggle with my sleep, then I struggle to wake up for Fajr as well. So that's one of the things, inshallah, I need to work on. But again, like emphasizing the importance of good sleep and a good morning. So that will kill your tiredness. Yeah. And that will remove that. We've gone through blast. Yeah.
Try not to nap. It's different for people. But for me, when I nap, I can't nap like 20 minutes are good for you. For me, when I'm on my sleep, I just knock off differently. And then it's really struggles.
Yeah, I get it. This is
and when you
entirely down to how you are.
When you have these insomnia related symptoms at night when you can't sleep, then you get bored and you're like, then sometimes you explore masturbation as a way to help you sleep. So try to just get in the phase where you keep busy yourself. I know it kind of contradicts what we said before about relaxing. We should relax, but try to keep yourself away from the sleep time until you're ready to doze off and have a nice night's sleep.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say.
Listen, all these things we discussed though is that it's not easy. None of them is
easy. No,
especially
and me and Aman are both struggling with a lot of them right now. And like we've not perfected any of it.
All of our friends, we don't know any of our friends who have mastered any of these. And the thing is, it might seem easy.
I don't think we can't fully master them either.
The thing is, some of the things we said, like relax a little, might seem intrinsically easy, but it's not, because when you're in a cycle, these massive differences in your life are just hard, because that's why you should always, like, in life, don't try to make that 50% change in your life. Do that 1%, 2%, 2%, and slowly build up. Because you have to be real with yourself. Like, this one thing that helped me when I started to quit is is what's it called? Literally just understanding that if I try to say one day wake up, say, I'm never going to do it again,
that's never going to work.
It doesn't work,
because never, and especially for porn, that's never
slowly
going to work.
And another thing I said to myself, I'm not going to watch these kind of pornographic things or like movie scenes I have here. The thing is, that's being really harsh on yourself, because literally, if you say that to yourself and then you see something come up,
you're gonna feel just guilt and shame.
So and it just triggers you straight away, because it's literally it's sad.
Then you're like, oh, I failed. I might as well do it now.
That's the sad part. That's the sad thing about all this. The best way just to get rid of the triggers, but realistically, it's just too far gone now.
Yeah.
So you can't avoid it. It's part of your everyday life, and we have to deal with it. So just be honest with yourself. Set some realistic goals. Like, you could say, I'll be off my phone. The small goals, they don't have to be directly pornography related.
No, I don't agree with you. When people say by 3 months I'm gonna be this.
Exactly.
Okay, for the odd 0.5%, it might work, but realistically for you, what is more better goals. is like daily. Like, are you better than what you were?
Don't set timely goals. Just set yourself a long-term goal, and also set yourself make systems. Don't work on the goal. I'm gonna compare this to football. Okay, so this is a very controversial topic, but let's give the example of Arsenal and Liverpool. Okay.
No, you're not gonna use Arsenal United, yeah?
No, I'm not using United's in their phase right now. Okay, let's do Liverpool, because that's more of a thing. So Liverpool were a very crap team for many years. Many years. It's a figure of his past.
Mm-hmm.
They recruited Jurgen Klopp, and he didn't have the best of starts. He was flailing, and no one believed in him.
Yeah.
But what the ownership did was they believed in his system. His goal wasn't like, in 2 years I'm going to win a league. His system was, I'm going to build a team that's going to be capable of winning a league. There's a very, very big difference. It seems very like small. If you might think some nonchalant, I don't know if that's the right word. I just want to sound big. Anyways, there might be some nonchalant difference, but the main thing.
I don't think you use that correctly.
Okay, there might be some negligible. There might be some
small difference.
Small difference in the wording, but it actually has a big difference in the system.
Subtle.
So the difference is that when you have a goal, like say, a 2-year goal, it's just if you fail to deliver it, you have no expectation that you don't really have a way of getting to that goal. Realistic way. When you have that's why United fail a lot, because United were a good team. But obviously, when you have a big change from Sir Alex Ferguson,
from glory, isn't it,
yeah, exactly. So you want these instant results, but you need time to implement new ideas, new players, new stuff. You can't just stick with
change
the
is
old.
slow.
Exactly.
Change is not. It's not. You're not gonna wake up.
So that's why with Liverpool, it took their time, and look at them now, big, powerful thing, and that's what's happening with Arsenal. Like, obviously, everyone's going to criticize Arsenal, but if you watch the way Arsenal's developed over the last few years,
I can't lie.
The systems, the way we play, like when we lost against United recently, 9 times out of 10, if we played that game 8 times out of 10, we would have won that game just based on the way we played. Obviously, it happens. Sometimes you fail, but the main thing is having a system.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the possession in that game.
Exactly.
Yeah, we all got dominated.
We just lost on finishing.
Dominated, man.
But that's my point. So that's with the system. So set yourself a system, and it doesn't have to be directly pornography related. Less time on the phone. Go to sleep at the right time. Pray on the right time.
These changes, yeah, and I think Amal talked about these in previous episodes, with other people as well. But it's these changes, and as a net positive side effect,
exactly,
these negatives will go away.
Exactly. When you set yourself good habits, your entire life changes. Not just if you go to the gym and you say, "Oh, I'm gonna get bigger." It's not just that. You're gonna get mentally stronger. You're gonna feel fitter. You're gonna, you're just gonna be just that present. You're gonna have that aura around you, and just everything in your life just feels better because you have that. You feel proud of yourself. That's what I think. Mental. A lot of these things is just a mental benefit that you get.
It's all mental. It's like I said. It's 1% about actually like the physical and 99%.
Let's just we're all medical students, and one thing we study is placebo effect. Sometimes you can give a drug to someone that has nothing in it, but just
it's
because
just
sheer
mental will, and
by sheer force of what
it'll cure Parkinson's.
Okay, I don't know about that one.
Well,
does it?
Yeah.
So
the BBC panorama on it.
Right. So it's like by sheer force of personality, you can change your life.
All in your mind.
Exactly.
It's actually all in your
That's
mind.
the problem. And that's probably,
and we all underrate the power of our minds.
Exactly.
Like, it's all untapped potential for everyone. And we can never fully unlock.
That's why we had this.
I think the goal is to unlock as much of it as we can.
We had this debate recently in the group chat. It was me against the entire group chat on how effective therapy is. So I'm on the side that obviously people are different, but my personal viewpoint on this therapy idea.
I think my viewpoint was a bit misconstrued. I don't think we were arguing about the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's the way. Let's just discuss.
Okay, go on.
So my viewpoint on therapy was you should have that. First of all, have that I'm not disregarding. Getting out when you're in a mental rut, it's hard to get out. Sometimes you need the therapy to boost you up. But what I'm saying is, I think a lot of people's problems about sadness can be solved by sheer force of your personality. Like if you fight, if you go to the gym, if you build yourself to go do stuff you're uncomfortable with, if you get that mentally strong will, you will. If you build up a mentally strong will, you will. Honestly, your problems in life fade away. That's what I experienced, at least.
Yeah.
I say obviously I'm not speaking for the everyone. Obviously, some people need therapy, and I completely understand that.
I agree. You know, most I agree with that more time.
I think, but first,
if people don't help themselves,
you need to help yourself first.
You have to try, at least attempt to help yourself first.
Exactly.
You know, if that doesn't work, fair enough.
Listen, a therapist can't do much.
Yeah.
The therapist, what a therapist helps you with.
Therapists hold you accountable.
Yeah, exactly. That's what one of the most powerful things.
Say self accountability doesn't work. Then fair enough. Yeah, then you can go and seek out other forms of accountability, and they can. And what therapists will help you do is they help you get independent again. So again, it comes back to self accountability.
And it helps you listen to your own thoughts, understand your thoughts, and I think that's a skill that they don't teach this they should be teaching. That's what not the part of the Matrix. They don't teach you the good things in life, but you should really be taught to teach yourself how to
the Matrix.
The Matrix.
Give a little Matrix SMI, yeah.
So it's like you should really teach yourself to hold yourself accountable and reflect upon yourself. Reflection is a good thing as well. Obviously, buy my self-reflection journal.
Yeah, I'm literally about to mention your journal. Yeah.
So you should reflect.
Again, I think Amanda's journaling in it. Just keep the things you want to achieve in the day and stuff like that. I need to try that.
I'm inconsistent.
I actually do it like my phone, a quick little checklist. Checklists are
anything.
So good.
Anything's.
So I have instead of on my phone, I have the paper to-do list.
Yeah.
And I just write.
Yeah, that's the journal, man. Yeah, that's literally just the journal. Yeah.
Okay,
but sometimes
there's
different types of journaling in it. So if you want to buy my self-reflection journal, it's like £1, £2. I don't know.
Shameless little plug, yeah.
So it's I first had a paper one, but you know what? I hate my handwriting is so dry, and I wanted to make my own one to make it look colorful and nice. So I made my own little one, a little template. So what I have is what I'm grateful in. When you wake up, what are you grateful for? Because we're in this society, I feel like everyone's just ungrateful of what we have. Because a few weeks ago, or months ago, actually, I was sleeping and I was just thinking about my duvet, like my bed sheet. Well, this is a really random thought, but I was looking at my duvet in it, like the duvet, and I was like, it sounds stupid, innit? But I was looking at my duvet, I was like, that's actually a luxury, like thing we take for granted. Like people who don't have duvets.
No,
you don't have a bed. Forget a mattress. You don't have a duvet, not duvet, like a bed sheet. They don't have a bed sheet.
A bed bowl,
and
a mattress.
Exactly, and then we have these small little things. I mean, we also have different bed sheets when you wash them, clean them. People sleep on the same bed sheet all over the world. Then I said the pillowcases. You have all these different pillowcases. I have 4 pillows on my bed, alhamdulillah. And I'm just me sleeping on my bed, and that's such a small thing that we don't have that gratefulness about. So that's sometimes you just wake up, find something that you're grateful for.
Yeah.
And
again, on that point, like. I think what's helpful, if you've ever been back home, Pakistan, Bangladesh, think about the villages. Yeah,
bro,
in Pakistan, look, the floods happened. 33 million people have been displaced. That's 30 million people that lived in mud houses that have been washed away, that have nowhere to go. I mean, just if you wake up in the morning, and I'm not saying like to always compare yourself to them, but just think about the minute.
Exactly.
Like your problems are genuinely insignificant in comparison. Now,
it doesn't discredit your problems.
It doesn't discredit your problem. I'm just saying, like.
in perspective,
we need to be a bit more grateful.
Yeah.
In perspective,
and you should always reflect, honey, because if you don't,
in hindsight, we need to be a lot more
and
grateful for what we
and
have.
that contributes towards your self accountability, because you know you're more aware of your surroundings, you're more happy as well, because you know you have these things that you take for granted, and that's why in West society, especially when you're there's 24/7, you don't have that much time to reflect on your life.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, well, obviously what's happening in Pakistan is really sad. So in the bio there will be like some donation links.
Yeah,
I got my
friend's been.
We got his friends, I think, and I got one of my friends is he'll be coming on the podcast soon as well. He runs a foundation, and I think they're gonna be doing a Pakistan deployment to help the people flooding. So, inshallah,
so my friend's doing. So basically, his uncle has trucks on the ground over there.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, we managed to raise about £1,000. But you know, the more the better, and you know, send
every day counts.
Food and supplies.
If you can't donate, spread the message.
Share it around.
Yeah.
You know,
you could share that to someone.
Them people need our help.
Yeah.
Desperately.
If you can share around someone who's, let's say, a millionaire sees it, you know,
anyone,
yeah.
That reward goes.
Doesn't matter if you're a millionaire.
If you share the link and someone donates, that reward goes to you as well.
Exactly. That's what before Islam. The small things that you do, you get the reward for it.
It's the small things.
Anyway, so going back to the thing, you got then you got some to do. I keep it at 6 to do 6 tasks a day. I don't want to overload myself. I used to write my notebook had like so many to do this. I just 6 important things I want to focus on and get them done. Even if it's like one thing like going to gym, I put that down and tick it off. Got random notes for like any random ideas I have, and then at the end got a reflection what went well and what could be better. But yeah.
Yeah. So what I did, you know, the thingies I bought, it's not just paper. So I bought these to-do list cards off Amazon. So the top half, it's like a little like card like this, and the top half is like your checklist, and the bottom half is just notes in it. So you know, in the morning, just fill out, you know, what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I do tend to fill it up, but then whatever I don't do is fine. That's fine. I'll just put it on the list for next morning.
Yeah.
And you know, go from there. And you know what? Honestly, that helps so much with, you know, instead of like aimlessly just like flailing around and doing nothing. You know, just having like
some goals.
I know, like, when you're free and you just look, I can be doing that right now. Yeah, let's go do that. Do I need to go gym? Do I need to do this? Do I need to go shopping? Even the little things, you know, like, do I need to fix something? Do I need to find something? Anything, you know, cleaning my room, but whatever.
One thing I will admit is struggling to like. Sometimes I'm just too tired at the end of the day to actually finish out the last part.
Yeah, and that's fine. You know what? You're not gonna complete it every day.
But obviously, it's a big change.
I think the writing down helps you to visualize.
Not even just typing. Forget typing, man. Typing's long. You need to physically write and spend some time.
That's what I prefer, the physical cards.
Yeah. I used to use the book, but you know the thing with the book, I can't read my handwriting after, so I'm like, you know, on this. So in my iPad,
my handwriting's so bad.
It's so dry. It's so dry.
Printing block capitals, that's me, man.
But yeah, anyways, let's get that cheeky plug out the way. So yeah, so we've talked about tiredness. You know, I think that's it. Then
that's it. Should we wrap up?
Let's wrap it up because my battery's going like 2% as well. I don't want the camera to die. My phone battery.
Oh, your phone battery.
The camera's fully plugged in.
Do you wanna do?
Okay, so let's just round up. So anyways, if you wanna. We discovered all these stuff about self accountability and you know how it's hard and stuff like that. But overall, let's just acknowledge the fact that society refuses to accept that it's literally one of the most dangerous things.
It refuses to acknowledge the destructive nature of porn.
Yeah.
You know, it's denormalizing it, encouraging people to continue on with this like brain frying sessions. You know what I mean? And disregarding us as like anti-sex or like,
and we're becoming
they actually like try to demonize and marginalize, you know, the people who are anti-porn.
Genuinely, we're living in a simulation. We're like not like a game. We're like programmed.
Actually, in Squid Game.
We're literally programmed like to do these things, and people aren't expressing their creativity as much. They're not enjoying the smaller things, like normal things in life. It's a slave. Like you could go to you could go to a random house and you could just predict what they do in their life.
Yeah,
that's what society becomes.
NPC lives. Yeah.
And then as these technologies develop, high-speed internet, it's so much easier to I think, like, you know, back in the day, I would say it was much harder to access porn just purely based on the internet not working or your what's it called, the browser taking too long, and by the time the browser taking on, something's come up. Swear down, man. When I was younger, that's what happened when I was younger. Wow. Sometimes because it's taking so long to the internet to load. Like, I used to have Sky Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. Oh, bro, don't talk about it, man.
World's worst thing. But you know what? Sometimes it's kind of good, you know. Yeah. I'll be real, man.
But you know, sometimes and it's not working and you can't play a game or whatever. Yeah, you get bored and you just start doing something else. Yeah. Bun Sky Wi-Fi.
It's the worst.
Public.
It literally fully just randomly shuts off. It's so annoying.
Bro, you know, it got so bad. I had to phone them 20 times a day so they can put a whole new flipping line in, bro. They took up my drive and put.
You still use Sky now?
No,
it's Virgin Media. You still use Sky?
Yeah.
Yo, but guys are from them, man.
They fixed it.
But anyways, so it's this system.
Oh, you know what we can talk about? You know, personal branding builds your confidence.
Yeah, we'll do that. Well, we'll talk about it in another episode because that's something I'm working on right now.
You have AU in it. I have Masturbation in it.
I'm building my website. You probably see
it here, the little sticker here.
If you're watching the video, you can see it.
You can see my little sticker, but we'll talk. This is a topic.
I think building a personal brand is a good idea in society.
Idea. We'll talk about.
But yeah, for me, I'm trying to have this balance between not being too bait because I'm a bit too bait these days. I want to have a private life, and some problem with building a personal brand is you have to be quite public in domain. But I want to be, so find that balance. But yeah, that's another topic for another day because I'm quite right now. I'm developing my website, my personal website. I'm trying to build my Twitter now. I'm on my measly 20 followers or something like that.
Don't worry, I'll donate some money. Go on, donate some money followers.
I'm studying the game of Twitter, seeing what works.
What's popping in.
And I don't know if I'm doing YouTube. I'm thinking about a YouTube channel, but I don't know.
The thing is, let's talk about YouTube. Yeah, no one watches YouTube no more.
I know, but
you know what it is because of TikTok.
Exactly.
TikTok's ruined attention.
But the thing is,
no one has the mental fortitude
the thing
to
with
watch a flipping 35 minutes video.
Exactly, but should I tell you why I don't do YouTube? Like, I just find the idea of imagine you make these weekly vlogs of your life. And then I don't really care about people watching it, but I mainly want to, when you grow up with your kid, when you have your kids, you can sit on your sofa and your kids can watch. Kids can watch you and watch you when you're a teenager. Yeah, it's funny. It's about cute.
Like in the other style of that one, it's like setting up an email account and just emailing random moments to that account.
Oh,
that's a good idea. After 18 years,
you can just see
give the password to your kid in it.
That's
and they can open it.
That's sick,
thing by thing.
That's a sick idea.
I love that idea. I might start doing that.
Ooh. That's when you have a kid, don't you? When you have a kid,
even before, like if you start now, start documenting your and then start sending theirs in it.
But imagine you lose your email though, then you're finished.
No, but email is just an example. That's what they use. But anything, like a hard drive or whatever.
I just found the idea of imagine I'm doing some cringe YouTube video and then my me and my kids just sitting on the sofa with the wife and we all just cringe. Like they're laughing at me and I'm just cringing in the corner. But yeah, that's that. Inshallah, we'll have another episode. Me and Mohsin talk about personal brands because I think
we have a lot to talk about.
We're the only ones in our group that really focuses on the personal branding. Yeah. Everyone else is just Sunday low key, can't be asked thing.
Look, no, me and Amana. How long this podcast been going on for an hour now?
Yeah, exactly.
Like 2 hours.
It's nearly 2 hours. I think.
Is it?
1 hour 40, something like that.
That's about the long ones, isn't it?
This podcast,
me and Aman could waffle for ages.
Yeah, man. This podcast is part kind of my branding as well. It has my little U as well.
Yeah,
my little U.
The two.
Oh yeah, I need to before I forget. I forgot to do the last episode. Thank you to my friend Idisha Mohammed for giving us this nice canvas. I needed a canvas for so long, but I kept pointing off. But yeah, he's giving me this nice canvas. It was a nice surprise. He just randomly said, "When are you home?" And I said, "I'm home already." Comes over, brings me this, and it's quite nice. I mean, I wish he asked me for a picture in it because he took a little screenshot from the Instagram page, so it's a bit blurry. But it's not. You can't really notice on the camera, so it's alright. But yeah. Anyway, let's just we've waffled too much now. This is another episode. So look, I'll let you finish it off.
I'll just read this last point in it. When you quit, like that's it. When you recognize the problem, you've defied all the odds. Because the way society's normalized it is mad, and you've broken free from the dopamine slavery.
Once you recognize the problem,
handcuffs on your hands.
If you recognize the problem and it'll let you in, you've done better than 99% of the people.
Literally 99%. When you go up, when you go on the internet, go and look at that statistic. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And you know what? Like when quitting it is as tough as it's been. Like even by starting to think of it, you've done more than 99% of people. Even if you quit for one day, the fact that you had the intention to quit for one day is good. It's one step in the right direction. We can all benefit from that. Exactly. Me and you included. And this is it's not just for like pornography and masturbation. It's also for like any bad addiction. Like the pornography was the first part. We waffled a lot. We've kind of deviated off tangent. But it's all about addiction, isn't it? Yeah, and then the addiction. No addiction is good for you. Everything's addictive if you abuse it. Exactly. You can be addicted to work, and it's bad for you. Once you decide, even for a day, decide that you're gonna get up, you're gonna have that responsibility, you're gonna have that self accountability, and you're gonna reclaim that control over your life. Without making yourself the victim. And that's another thing with this whole idea of everyone stuck in his life of working, doing this. I have to just revise 24/7. Look at what me and Mohsin did and our friends. We said, "Bun this. Let's just fly out to Dubai, bro." We just dipped, bro. This was 2 weeks before exams.
Spontaneous.
I mean, let's not talk about what
we don't talk about the exams. But listen, we learn. We made it to the next year.
But you know what?
It was good. I don't regret it.
100% never give up.
Exactly.
Like, I'd do that again.
Exactly. 100%.
Forget the exams. You can do the exams later, man. You always get research.
Have a bit of balance on it. I think we took a bit too far. But we were there for like 12 days, man.
Yeah, 12 days. Like, you know the story of this, basically, one of our friends, Kashif, he texts, because I was going to go to Dubai in it just alone because my family's over there. And Kashif goes, Mohsin, I want to come to Dubai with you.
Yeah. So it's like 4 a.m. in the night.
It's like 4 a.m. and now we're having a random conversation on the group chat. And then I'm like, come. So in the morning, at 10 a.m., we walk into med school. I was trying to see these two in it. And she goes, let's go to Dubai.
And bro, I rate Danny as well, bro. The guy bought a brand new passport right on the dot.
One second. So we go upstairs to the private room, and we just book it. This guy didn't even ask me the dates. He just books it. Like, he didn't even let me ask my parents, like, what day is it. He just books it. So I'm like, Carl, we booked our flights.
Bro, I sleep on the streets. I sleep on the streets if I have to, bro. I don't care.
And then it turns out, Danny didn't even have a flipping. His passport was expired, man. So, literally, in the space of 2 weeks, like, in the space of 2-3 hours, we booked our flights. Okay. The camera dead?
No, it's not dead. It's just my phone's dead, so I can't control it. But we have a few minutes. We have like 10 minutes left.
Okay, basically, we booked it in like 3 hours, and in another hour, Danny paid the 100 quid and got his emergency passport. And 2 weeks later, we were in Dubai chilling.
But that's
the thing, spontaneity. Yeah, that's one of the that
helps you break through the system as well. Just literally don't do things that you're not meant to do, man. Like, people will tell you don't go exam before you go and do something before exams, or
forget it, man.
My family was saying, listen, just sit down and work 24/7. That's what they expect you to do, especially with Asian families. I assume your family's like that as well. You have to revise.
All families like that, innit?
You put your head down, but listen, you need time to enjoy yourself, relax, break from the cycle, and it's like it's not revising is not addiction, but it's like a problem that you overwork yourself and do over too. So ties in with that.
No, if like
self-destruction,
don't make your degree your personality.
Yeah, or your education, or whatever your work.
You're a lot more than that.
That's why having a personal brand is a good idea.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that's another.
We'll talk about that in another episode.
Let's quickly round this up, man.
Right.
Okay, so we saw that. So we recognize the problem. We've done stuff that most people don't do.
We've talked about the triggers. We've talked about everything.
Speak to it about your friends, man. Like honestly,
once you start, it's the initial like bump. Coming. I remember the first time we talked about it was first year in COVID. I was in my accommodation and these two came over for the first time, and we just started talking about it. The first and only time these guys came over, but like this is the first time I ever met these guys as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened. It was the first time we met and we started talking about it. that had to be like foreshadowing for the friendship. This was going to become in it.
The second time we met, he came to my house, bro.
Yeah, literally like we became friends, and then he invited me to his house for Predatory, and then I invited him to my accommodation. And that was the first time we actually properly talked about this. But if you haven't discussed it, discuss it on a level. Because once one person open, everyone will open up.
It's not embarrassing, man. It's not embarrassing. It can seem embarrassing, but you know what? Everyone's done it, and equally it's embarrassing for everyone else. It's
embarrassing for everyone else. Yep. Yeah, that's we're all in it together. We're all stuck in it.
And I think another idea is organize Islamic meetups and make presentations with each other.
Yeah, sometimes it's show up now.
Can I get some
stuff more? I think it's time to end the podcast.
We're getting a bit carried away now.
Right.
But just educate yourself, educate your friends. I think this podcast is a good idea for you to just gain some knowledge, because it's like a private thing you can listen to your own. No one needs to know. And whatever happens from it, what's it called? Hopefully you can benefit from it. And
inshallah. That's
even if you for one day you'll feel the benefits of one day and you'll feel good about yourself and just
one day, 1 hour, 1 minute, whatever. It changes.
Build a system. Don't focus on the goal. Don't say I'm gonna quit. Say I'm gonna work towards quitting. Encourage your Islamic society to talk about it. If you're not Muslim, encourage your friends to talk about it. And
that's it.
Right, so you can we're shaking hands on the podcast apparently. So I've been AUA,
and I'm Mohsin Sadiq.
Mass Prod 1. I'm AUA. And we hope this episode was useful, and inshallah, everyone can gain some benefit from this.
Inshallah, we'll be back with you
inshallah. And if you find this podcast informative,
let us know.
Please let us know. Email us. You can email Mohsin at inbetweenuspodcast.com. No, yes.com, yeah. And me at AU@inbetweenuspodcast.com.
Right, do I have an email now?
Yeah, you got email.
Have you made a domain?
I just attach it to your email. I got the email, yeah.
Cool.
And you can just comment if you want. I think I might set up a form for like anonymous things, but we'll see. And last thing I want to say is share it if you find it useful, because you want the more people that benefit from this, the better. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Oh, that was a good episode.
That was actually sick, you know.